To episode 100 of the Valley Sports Talk podcast. Yeah, we made it to three-digit numbers, which is kind of crazy considering the amount of breaks me and Brandon took and just how long it took to get here based on those breaks. Episode 100 probably should have been a couple months ago, but just based off the two breaks we took in years, what, two and three of school?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the years or the breaks we took just based off the fact that we were really focused on school and we just couldn't really find a good time to sit down and talk. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, on today's episode, we are kind of a special episode. Obviously, we've been hinting at it for a couple weeks now. If you've been keeping up recently, if you do follow our Instagram, which everything is down in the description, you will see the four different interviews we have planned for today. But yeah, it's not gonna be much of me and Brandon just sitting here talking about sports. It's gonna be about that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, every person says this when they hit an accomplishment. Like, did you ever think we would have gotten here? Like, we started this thing 3.5 years ago, with just a little stupid conversation saying we'd talk about sports all the time. Might as well record it so you can look back and see your dumb takes. But we're actually at episode 100, and just by looking at our 99 previous episodes, a lot of our most viewed ones are of interviews. So obviously people don't like hearing us talk. They like hearing the people we interview. So with that being said, we will bring it right to the first interview.
We would now like to welcome to the show one familiar face and one new face. We are joined now by Lakers soccer women's soccer players, Cassie Brooks and Avery Cafaro. How are you ladies doing today?
Good. Good.
As mentioned, Cass has been on the show before. I do not remember what episode it was, because I'm bad at that. But yeah, Avery is joining us for the first time today, and of course Brandon's here.
Hey guys.
Before we get into some questions, since Avery is new to our show, we'll just get her to sort of give you guys a quick introduction and background, sort of how she got into playing soccer and how she got sort of where she is now.
So my name's Avery Cafaro. Getting into soccer. So growing up, I'm a part of a very athletic, sporty family. So I have two other siblings and we were always kind of in sports. So my mom played soccer when she was younger in university. So I naturally kind of just played there when I was younger, started off in Timbits and everything. And then as I got older, I became more serious and very I just loved it. It's such a great sport. So then I continued to play it through elementary school, high school, and then I was lucky enough to get recruited by Nipissing to come play varsity.
Yeah, so at what age did you kind of feel like this is something that you could pursue past like high school or like a little more serious?
Um, I feel like I've always been very serious about it. I had a very hard, strict coach growing up that really you were there because you wanted to be there kind of thing. So, but I would say more around grade 10. I was at Glen Shields as a club, and then I ended up switching over to Bradford. And that was just kind of to get me on like the better track to get seen and just have better, like good exposure, amazing coaching, and then just a great team.
Cool.
So, Avery, you just finished your second year, and Cass, you are the old lady on the team, just finished your fourth. What, now that we're just getting to the summer and you've had a bit to sort of digest the past season, what are your thoughts sort of on Avery, your second season, and Cass, your fourth season? Obviously, Avery, you guys had unfortunate end to it. Avery had an injury, which we will bring up somewhat soon, but what are your sort of thoughts on your second and fourth seasons?
My second season was a lot more fun and interesting than my first because obviously coming in as the first year, it was 2 years ago, I was very shy and timid, and then in my second year, I started kind of finding my voice, finding my place on the team. So growing up and everything, I've been a forward, a striker, and then even in my first year at Nipissing, I was playing more of a midfield position. And then this year, in my second year, I found myself as a fullback, which I absolutely just love the position. I kind of got just put back there and I've kind of just figured my way out on my own just by kind of watching the other fullback on the other side, Riley, and just kind of just going with the flow. So I really loved that position. It was so freeing. I could kind of do whatever I wanted because they really wanted me up on the attack. So I was able to kind of use my striker mindset to kind of help on the attack and get a chance on goal a couple times and set up some nice plays. So my second year, I loved it. It was super fun. The team was amazing. And then, yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't the best ending, but I'm very hopeful for next year.
Awesome. And for me, like you said, I just finished my fourth year at Nipissing, so I knew I was continuing my studies into a master's program at Nipissing for the next 2 years coming up. So I had a decision to make. I wasn't pressed on making it, but my mindset going into this year was leave it all out there, enjoy every little bit that I could, and just like try my best and have fun with it, and just like build the first years and still like the second years, their confidence, help them get to a point where they needed to be to enjoy the sport and to excel on the field. And yeah, so in my mind, I was just trying to enjoy my last year of my undergrad, and then make the decision later on and just to kind of lead the incoming girls and like second and third year girls into like their next season and near the end of the season there. So yeah, and then near the end of the season this year, that's when I was making my decision, and I decided to stay another year. So I'm eligible for 2 more years, and I'm just going to take it year by year.
Yeah, I kind of will point this one at Cass as you're bringing it up. I know, like most of the year, I think a lot of us thought that this was your last year. Um, and then when unfortunately your season ended, I remember talking to Noah just one-on-one, and we both said we think Cass is going to come back just because you guys have such a good team and have definitely you guys can definitely win a championship with this team. How was that decision? Like, was that a difficult decision, and how did you ultimately come to deciding to play another year?
Good question. For sure, it was something that I wasn't trying to think about a lot during the season, which is why I was like, okay, this could be my last year. Let's just treat it like that. So I went in, tried to just enjoy every moment of it. And near the end of that season, I took a couple weeks off. We always take a couple weeks as a team, just because it's like full on during season and a lot of practices and games. And then when it comes to an end, it's pretty abrupt. So I took a couple weeks, and I was honestly bouncing between staying or going, and my biggest kind of thought was academically. Like, of course, you're a person first, and then you're a student, and then you're an athlete. That's how I grew up, that mentality. And so I was just really focused on my next step at like academically, and then that athletic side of myself and like my identity, I wasn't just ready to let go. So I think it was about a month after, that's when I knew I was like, I'm not done yet. And I still got a couple years, and I still got some more to give.
Definitely.
Yeah, jumping back to Avery's side. So in your guys' semifinal game against Queens, you tore your ACL, correct?
Yes, I did,
Um,
unfortunately.
so yeah, obviously unfortunate injury. Obviously your first thoughts are, ow, that hurts. But sort of once you sort of got the diagnosis, what were your sort of first thoughts that sort of came to your mind, after hearing such a severe injury?
It took a little bit of time to actually get like a proper good diagnosis. I remember coming home from the game and I wasn't able to see anyone for a couple days, and then that's when I kind of got told, and just the whole like I had all the signs and symptoms showing ACL tear, but I didn't really think about it. I was kind of neglecting the fact that I probably tore my ACL, just trying to be like, oh no, I probably like originally at the time, like I thought I was like, oh, okay, maybe it was just like an MCL kind of thing, nothing too terrible. Because I actually, after I tore it, I managed to get back on the field and I kept playing. And then I got hit again, and then I went off. Like, you know what, I was done. But the first time that I got told that, that they thought I tore my ACL, I just broke out into tears. Um, it's always been like it's been very common in women's sports now, and I keep hearing about it everywhere, and I was in denial for the longest time. I got like every time I saw someone, they would test it, and it was always like a yeah, we're pretty sure, but we're not 100% sure. Like I even got there was a doctor that Nipissing brought in, and like he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100% sure. So it was all kind of just like a waiting game to the MRI, and I just still in denial, like very like, I don't think it's that serious. It's fine. Like, because I've never had a big career or season ending injury in my life. So, and then it wasn't until the surgeon tested my knee, and he does like the drawer test and the Lockman's test. And like after doing that on both legs, I was like, yeah, I could tell. And I just knew. So I think for the first 2 weeks, I was in denial and I was kind of just pissed off at life a little bit. Like, are you serious? And I was like, okay, maybe it didn't happen. Maybe I'm just like making it up in my head. But I definitely burst into tears a couple times. But then slowly kind of got over it. Truthfully, I still feel a little in denial about it, but it happens, I guess.
So yeah, we're
Yeah,
here
it's
in
super
June. Oh,
unfortunate.
sorry, Brandon.
No, it's my turn, Noah. Let's
Okay, go
stop.
for it.
It's definitely super unfortunate, but what is the rehab portion like? Like, how do you go through that? What are your exercises? What did the doctor tell you? And how are you feeling going into next season with that knee?
So in terms of like rehab process, so before the surgery, I was just told to like get as strong as I can. So I was still like lifting weights, trying to really build up my quad muscle. And then after the surgery, I was non-weight bearing for the first 24 hours, and after that I was like off my ass on the crutches, weight bearing, walking around. So at the beginning, I think it's around the first 6 weeks, they really push your range of motion, so your flexion and your extension. So that's like the biggest part. So I was able to get that right away because I had a patellar tendon graft. So that was easier for flexion and extension to get, where most people get hamstring graft. And I think that they have a hard time with one of the two to get. But no, so the beginning was just range of motion and being able to weight bear. And then as we kind of went on, it was more just trying to get like my walking gait properly and just little things like little movements. It was more just proprioception at the beginning, so just balance and walking up and down stairs, which I still do not enjoy. But and then around the 12 around week 12 was when I was able to start doing a little bit of running. So very slow, very humbling. But I was able to start to do a little bit more kind of fun things. And then after week 12, it's more just building back strength. So I was at school for the first 3 months of my recovery still. So that was just more kind of exercises to get you back into like your daily life. So daily activities, just being more comfortable with walking like up and down hill, uneven surfaces. And then once I got home, I was around month 4 or 5, and that I was able to see someone who's more ACL specific for soccer players or just any athlete getting back into sport. So that is more when I get more into like the agility stuff. So like jumping and just being comfortable doing movements. So, and then I think it was like last week, Sunday, I was finally able to kind of get back onto the field. Nothing too big, just like movements, jumping, walking backwards, doing like weird kind of like things on the ladder. So slowly getting there. And then my surgeon was he stressed a lot on 6 months. So I'll be at my 6 month mark next week. And then after that, he's like, you're good to go. I really don't care what happens. So that's when you can really start getting into like the more soccer specific things. So we have a training camp coming up, and I'm able to do a bit more stuff with the team now. So it's just like running in like simple ball touches, but it's just so nice to finally be at that point.
Yeah, that must feel awesome.
So we're
Yeah.
about 2.5 maybe months away from the season opener. Are you expecting to be in the lineup for that, or are we just sort of playing that by ear?
Right now we are playing it by ear, but I'm very hopeful because I was lucky enough to get the surgery. So I got the surgery in December, and that gave me a good enough timeline to get back for September. So for ACL, the recovery is roughly about 9 months. That's like the ideal mark. So my 9 months would bring me to September, which is like right on the dot. But right now, just the way everything's going, I've been doing really well so far. I've been putting the work in multiple times throughout the week, so I'm very committed to getting back onto that field for September. So right now things are looking pretty good and very hopeful. So I should be back to almost 100% by August preseason.
That would be awesome. Cass, I got a question for you. Kind of a funny one. Watching your games, we've sat with your parents numerous times, and even at some points your grandma. What's it like having them at the games, especially when things might not be going your way? They're I wouldn't say they're rude or anything, but they're definitely passionate and very vocal. What's it like hearing your parents and knowing they're there and having you guys back and all that stuff when you're mid-game?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to my parents and grandma. They make the trip up a lot. Specifically, my
Yeah.
mom went to every single game except for one last season. I think Avery's parents went to everything, I think. So,
Yeah, then we can
Oh
go
yeah.
both. We can get both of you in then for that.
yeah. And so I think our parents are definitely like biggest supporters in that aspect. Like they will drive the 3, 4 hours to our games through any weather kind of thing. So just knowing they're there and having their support is just unimaginable. And I mean, my dad, I think, is pretty quiet. My mom, she's French and she always just cheers us on whenever she sees maybe our heads are going down. She'll be like, let's go, ladies. Like,
Work together, ladies. Work
yes,
together.
and yeah, grandma's just sitting there and enjoying it. She just loves watching us do something we love. But that feeling that, we're student athletes, we're super busy. I mean, it's same with any university student. Like you move away from home for the most part. Sometimes it's pretty far away where you can't visit home much. And then being a student athlete, you're go, go, go in season, so you're not able to visit home. And so just seeing them after that game and giving them that hug is just such a good feeling. And like every time, like no matter if it's like a week apart, like I still get tears every time, I get that hug from my parents at the end of the game because having their support is just, yeah, it's unimaginable.
For sure. Avery, do you want to talk about your parents for a second?
Oh yeah. So when I first originally signed with Nipissing, I was joking to my parents and I was like, you guys better come to every game no matter where it is, and they do it religiously. Like I think out of the 2 seasons they've only ever missed one game maybe, but they just, as much as I want to think they're coming because I kind of like, can you guys please come? They love watching like any of their kids play. They love watching soccer. It's so they've come to every single game. They've gone all the way to Queens to watch us play. So I I'm a big family person, so just it puts a big smile on my face. And anytime I'm on the field or like standing in line for O Canada, like I always manage to find them in the crowd and get them a little bit of a wave. So it's always nice to see them.
That's awesome.
Let's get into sort of some accomplishments. Cass, we talked to you before the start of last season, where last year you were again named an OUA first team All-Star, but you were also named your team's MVP. What does that accomplishment sort of mean to you?
Yeah, for sure. Well, to me, being nominated for that and receiving that team award just really, hit the heartstrings a little bit. Just knowing that your team supports you and, it's a team effort at the end of the day. Like, yes, I'm in that position at the end of the day that ends up putting the balls in the back of the net, but I can't get there without, our midfields and our defenders and our goalie. So it takes a whole team to get to that part of me being able to score those goals to help our team out. But just having that support from my teammates and them, you know, just really rooting for me in the end. And um, it's again unimaginable. I don't really have many words for it. Like, I just want to thank everyone for believing in me too, because you go through some times in the season where maybe you're not as confident or maybe you lost yourself a little bit. And I did go through that a bit this season. Even though some people might not see it, like it does happen. And just knowing that your team is there to support you through everything is unbelievable. And it makes you a better person and it helps you just like find your identity as a person and an athlete. And it gets you to those parts where you're able to achieve many accomplishments. So.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. And I want to give a question to kind of both of you because you brought up some good points on how it's not just a solo award. Like that's all your teammates have a big part in that. And watching you guys play, it does look like you're one whole unit. It's not a one woman show or a two-woman show. So what is like team meals or team bonding experiences? Like how much does that play into having a super tight team like you guys have?
Mhm. Yeah, I can start us off and Avery, you can chime in.
Okay.
I think it's super important because especially those incoming players, coming in straight to preseason, we're busy, 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 soccer every day, 2, 3 times a day. It's that on the field connection will eventually come, but with that off the field and our team potlucks and our team events, maybe like a beach day, or we go to a soccer festival to help out the youth athletes and just to be there and support them. Like that brings in the off the field connection, and we get to know each other as people, not just athletes, and that progresses that on the field connection even more.
Yeah, Cass pretty much covered it all, but I think also it's really important for incoming players because some people are coming from out of province, some people are coming from like I make a 3-hour commute. So it helps us bond together and it helps really form that second family. It's a great experience and just yeah, no, it's just like a second family.
Yeah,
It really helps with the bond on the field to really get to know everyone. And then also for like any players, if they're ever having a hard time with anything, soccer, education, being away from home, it's easier to know that you can always fall back on the team.
yeah, super important.
So, Avery, you mentioned how you obviously came to sign with Nipsing. So we heard about Cass's the recruiting story, how she was so late. What's sort of your recruiting story, and sort of why you ended up choosing Nipsing at the end of the day?
So it actually worked out pretty perfectly. So at the time, I wasn't too sure. I'm at Nipissing for nursing, but around grade 11, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do nursing or kinesiology. So at the time, I was kind of just reaching out to a bunch of universities and just looking at the teams, the rosters, the standings, and just I was looking more towards soccer. You're always supposed to look at education first, but I looked at soccer first right away. But so I had a couple offers from different. I only looked in Ontario because at the time, it was I was a little after COVID, but I didn't find a point reaching out to the States because I'm like, you haven't really ever seen me play. I don't have enough footage to really send you to really. I don't want to go to the States and just sit on the bench, like. So I wanted at least decent minutes. So I was at a soccer scouting event, and it was funny because, again, as I said earlier, like I'm a forward, and in that event, I had to play fullback for a few minutes. Well, for probably about 2 of the games, and then that's when our head scout kind of found me. So I just remember walking off the field, and then Mike, who was our head coach or our head scout at the time, was like, "Great game, Avery," and I kind of looked at him, and I'm like, "I don't know who you are." So then I kind of walked away to my parents and I was like, I don't know, this guy said good game to me and he knew my name and I don't know who he is. And then later on, I found out that he was the scout for Nipissing University, which at the time I never heard of. I never really knew what North Bay was. I never knew what Nipissing was. So I was like, okay, like, that was a really good, I like that they're interested in me. So I'll kind of just keep that with me for now and just see what else happens down the road. But Nipissing, like was so good at following people around. I can't tell you how many games that I'd finish, I'd walk off the field and be like, good job, Avery. And I'm like, I didn't even realize you were coming. Like, what are you doing here? He literally followed me everywhere. And it was good. Like I think I did Zoom meetings with the coaches every other week and they were very strong and I felt very like valued and wanted the team. And then at the time, they also had one of the best nursing programs in Ontario, I believe. So I was like, you know what, this works out really nicely. And then I even met some of the girls previously to signing, and I love the atmosphere of the team and just their goals and what they wanted for in the team, and it kind of just fell together really nicely.
Yeah, you brought up a point that Nipissing wasn't even really on your radar and you didn't know much about North Bay. I feel like that's a pretty popular opinion. Like not many people know what's going on around here. So just kind of a question. Nipissing seems to like, especially you guys, play really well at home. What makes it hard for opposing teams to come here and play?
I don't really know. I want to see the weather. The weather is very, very unpredictable. It's crazy. Like I think we played one game in my first year and it was like hailing, raining, and sunny all at the same time. It was so weird. But we also have a really, really good fan base. So we have a couple other student athletes that they cheer so loud and they chirp and we have a really great fan base.
I think we've had one of the main chirpers on for an interview before.
Don't name who it is, but
Yeah.
might play volleyball. I don't know.
Um, so I know athletes are very superstitious. Avery, do you have any sort of pregame superstitions that you like have to go through before, no matter what?
I was just gonna ask.
Nothing too crazy. Um nothing like I just have a routine. So like in the morning, because our games are all at noon, so I'll have like I always have oatmeal, orange juice, and like toast with peanut butter. When I go to the field, I've been listening to the same soccer playlist since I was in grade 10, I think. And I start at the top. I can't shuffle it. Just I just go right down to the bottom of the list. When I put on my equipment, I kind of do like right, left, and I tie my shoes a certain way. So it's kind of like I don't know if it's called I call it a hockey knot, but like instead of going around once, I kind of go twice.
Okay, yeah.
That's really about it. Like I eat a banana, I think after warm up.
I know one of yours.
Oh, what is it?
I braid your hair every game.
Oh my god! Yes. Okay. So Cass is my hairstylist. So for the past 2 seasons, I've had the same hairstyle. So she gives me like two nice braids right here, and then I just put it up in a ponytail. That's my favorite one.
And I think we kind of have to end on this. Someone may have told me that you're a big Leafs fan. Uh,
Yes.
from what I've
Don't
heard.
chirp me.
No, I'm a Leafs fan as well, so that's
Okay,
good.
good.
Um, do you think a Marner trade's going to happen, and do you hope a Marner trade's going to happen?
I don't know. I don't. The thing is, he was doing pretty well throughout the season, and then in playoffs, he just doesn't perform. I don't know what it is. I highly doubt we're gonna trade him. I don't think we are. I'm really hoping the new coach that we have really toughens the whole team up. But no, I don't think we're gonna trade him unless we get a pretty good goalie out of it. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't appear in the playoffs, that's for sure. Cass, I would ask you a hockey question, but the Penguins kind of suck, so we'll stay away from
Whoa,
that. So
whoa,
maybe
whoa,
we'll,
whoa, whoa.
maybe we'll end Cass off on one more soccer question. Obviously, your guys' goal is to win the whole thing, but do you have any specific goals for yourself going into next season?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to this last season. Of course, I'm one of the older players on the team now. It's
Grandma status.
crazy how time flies, but honestly, same as last year, just, being there and being a leader for the incoming girls, someone they can come to and trying to make their transition from high school to university in a new town just as smooth and as comfortable and easy as possible for them and their parents on and off the field. And just honestly to like bringing more like awareness to mental health in sports and trying to bring more tools to the team. I have some things that I'm planning, so stay tuned for that, Avery.
Looking forward to
But
it.
yeah, and you know what? Just again, like learning about myself. Pushing. Can I push the limits? What else can I do as a individual and as a team member? And yeah, just having fun because you know what? Growing up in a competitive sports, I think they take a lot of the attention away from having fun with the game that you love, and it's a lot of pressure, a lot of like commitment, of course, and just especially if you want to play that next level, sometimes it can be overbearing at some point. So just, dialing back, playing simple and having fun. So.
Yeah, it's a great answer. We want to thank you guys. I think we're done. Hey, Noah?
Yeah, well, I have a minute left before we get kicked
Okay,
off.
we want to thank you guys for joining. You guys are awesome. You did really well. And we're looking forward to watching you guys hopefully win the whole thing next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are now joined by three sisters that grew up in Deep River, and all three went on to play hockey post-secondary. One's a familiar face, and two new ones joining the show today. We have the Sim sisters. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. We appreciate you guys giving some time to do this, even though it was a bit of a kerfuffle trying to find out a time to get this done. But as I mentioned, Taylor is a familiar face. She was on episode 36 where I talked to her, which is currently still our most viewed video by a lot. It's not even close. And then we have two new ones, our sisters Arwen and Kylie. We'll get them to do a quick introduction about themselves, and then we'll get going with the interview. So I don't know which one wants to start.
You go ahead. Okay. Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm the middle. I played hockey at Northland College in Wisconsin, D3 school, and just graduated about a month ago. So.
I didn't realize that we were sitting
Yeah, we said in order.
Is that on purpose?
Yeah,
Was that on
yeah.
purpose? Okay, that was pretty good.
And I'm Arwen. I played 2 years of NCAA hockey in a school in Michigan called Finlandia University, and I'm going into my senior year in Dubuque, Iowa, and played there for 2 years as well.
Exciting. Cool. Do you want to lead off with?
Sure. Okay, so I'll start with a question for all three of you. So both your parents were U Sport athletes. Your mom played soccer at Guelph. Your dad played football at Guelph. Was there sort of like a pressure for all three of you guys to play some sort of sport post-secondary, or was that just sort of just wanting to do that?
I definitely felt one, being the youngest, because I was the only Sims family member left to make that decision, because both my parents had, and then both these two had gone and played hockey. So there's definitely a little bit of that for me. I was like, well, what am I going to do? Just be the only kid that doesn't go play a sport? So that played a role for me, but I don't know about that.
I actually don't think there was a lot of pressure on my end. I didn't commit until my senior year of high school, so like grade 12. And honestly, it was like all of my friends were kind of signing to go places, but I was going to be happy if I just stayed in Canada and went to university. And I kind of had academic goals, but when it worked out in the perfect situation that one of my really close friends I played junior with, Abby Davies, was recruited by RIT, the coaches happened to come watch her play and saw me, and that's how they reached out. And it just kind of was a perfect storm of like going to play D1 with someone I was familiar with at a good academic school. So all the good things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with Taylor. Like, I don't think there was really any pressure. I think it was just how like the cards fell. Like I also didn't get recruited until my senior year as well, and I also would have been happy just to like continue with my academic journey. But also like so thankful I did get picked up and like got to play another 4 years.
Yeah. So another question for all you guys. I don't know if you talked about it in your episode, but what is that recruitment process like, and how did you guys end up? Was there other schools involved, or was it strictly the schools you guys went to?
I think it is so individual, even like in just the total realm of hockey, but like from my experience, I was doing a lot of reaching out to youth sport teams, and I feel like in Canada that's typically how it goes. You reach out to coaches, and I'm kind of naive in the sense of what happens with the NCAA because I didn't do it in that style, but I'm pretty sure how it works when you turn 16, you can reach out and coaches can reach out. That wasn't really my case. It was just kind of they saw me and kind of asked what I was doing. But I had discussed previously with a couple of Division III schools in the States, and they just weren't good fits for me. They're like too far from home, or I didn't really like the campus or things like that. So it was kind of a perfect storm of like close to home. They saw me play, and I think knowing someone going to the school like made it 100 times better for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, mine was through tournaments. And kind of the same thing, like just got coaches' interest and like asking what I was doing the next year. And like had a couple of offers and like went to go visit those schools, but ultimately like I really loved Ashland and what it provided.
I was kind of screwed. My last year of minor hockey was actually the COVID year, so there was no games, no tournaments. So all I did that whole year was just practice. So I had no opportunity to go and be seen or reached out to. So I was actually reaching out to schools in the States with practice footage and saying,
Good job.
sorry, this is all I have. Is it good enough? And I guess for my freshman year at Finlandia, it thankfully was good
Was
enough.
it just you in the footage?
Yeah.
Like just solo
Dad
drills?
videotaped it.
Crossovers?
Yeah, like put music over it.
I think we should find
I
those
was in.
and give them
Find it,
to you.
Put them up a little.
So yeah. Anyways, I guess I got lucky in that sense that I could be accepted somewhere with practice footage.
That's awesome. I actually did. Did you
And-
do any like blocking shot videos?
Tennis ball.
Tennis balls?
One of them, I think, I took a big shot at the end of one, and I think it missed the net, so we just cut it a little sooner.
I had one of those too. I had a highlight reel on YouTube where they like highlighted me in the plays, and every clip that I missed the net shooting, they just cut it
Cut
like
it out.
cut it quickly so it looked like I hit the net every
Yeah.
time.
Where was your footage recorded? Was that an arena? Was
Yeah,
it
it was at PACC because
Really?
that was the only place we had practice that
With
year.
what, Dad's iPhone?
Yeah.
So did you
Stands?
just
Just
did
on the
you,
stands.
We would have
No,
been on the
on the
ice.
ice.
Oh!
so did you guys just rent the ice and
No, it was like Ottawa Valley Thunder.
Oh,
like when I
cool.
played, it was
Yeah.
their practice.
Okay.
Like it wasn't just like
What,
me
you
solo.
you
like-
kicked everyone out of the film?
No,
it's just
it was
you?
drills.
But there was
Really.
other people in there?
It was like
Yeah.
a solo camp.
Okay, good.
Charles is following you.
Yeah,
Dad is following
Dad's
you.
like, wait, everyone wait over here. Arwen needs 2 reps by
No,
herself.
it was like actually like a real practice. Just
Was Kate on that team? Or was she
no,
already
it
gone?
was a year later.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
so I got lucky in that sense. Set me up
funny.
nicely.
This question's for Taylor. So you've been out of sort of hockey now for about a year,
Yeah.
just over a year. When we last talked to you, you were in your senior year at RIT, where you then went on to play U Ottawa for a year. What was the transition like from like D1 to U Sports hockey?
They are completely different entities, but in the best way possible. I had the best experience at Ottawa. We were fantastic is like a perfect word for it. We were like a perfect storm. So that team had already been pretty decently successful under Chelsea girls and Stephanie and Greg. That coaching staff is amazing, and I had always been really close with Greg when I was playing in Ottawa for my PWHL and everything like that. So it was a perfect storm of like, I want to go there, can I come, all these things. And it was myself, Abby Malotny, who played at Syracuse. I played against her my entire career at RIT, and then Vicky Harkness, who played at UConn. And the 3 of us came back, played at UW for a year, and the hockey was so good. It was fast, it was great. The Quebec teams are fantastic. Just that the RSQ, the league that we were in, is really, really good hockey in U Sport, and it was like a really fun year. But I can say that the hockey is different, and I think the difference is the physicality. I think there's still so much skill and so much speed, but the margin of player is different. Like you'll have like a really, really talented player with a lot of speed and a lot of skill that is cohesive with playing with a not as skilled player, but you don't see that as much in the NCAA. You see a lot of really, really even keeled players, like can do everything type players, and this was like you kind of had a spectrum, but also you lost the physicality of play. Like there's a lot of funny clips of like, if you listen to announcers in games that I was playing, there's a funny clip that we got translated out of French, and it's the University of Montreal announcer saying, what is she always doing? Like, you know she's gonna go out there and always hit someone, and it's just like a different like type of hockey, but it's fantastic hockey just the same.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a coach from your U Ottawa team was a PW or professional
Yeah.
women's hockey. Was it Minnesota or Boston?
So yes, Boston.
Boston.
So Stephanie is awesome. So Stephanie played at Wisconsin. She was the captain for a year, and I don't know her full story, but had some, I think, concussion issues, and finished out her career there. Came back to Ottawa. She's an Ottawa local, and coached at Ottawa. Ended up actually getting the head coach position at Ottawa. And in the same couple weeks, Boston reached out, and she was the assistant coach of Boston throughout this entire season. They made it to the championship game. It was awesome.
Yeah, they almost won it all.
Yeah, so good. They were so good. She's awesome.
That's cool. This one's kind of for Arwen and Kylie, because I know you played minor hockey basically in Deep River your whole career,
Yeah.
where you guys switched to ladies hockey a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that decision made, and do you think it was beneficial towards your professional career?
I feel like for me, I changed over in my major Bantam year. And like the year before, like I was playing boys rep, and I think, obviously I think contact was like one of the deciding factors on that, and I just like, boys were getting like too big for me, and it almost just became like a survival game. And I think moving over to girls hockey gave me like a lot more time to kind of develop skills that I probably wouldn't have got playing rep. And also, if I did want to continue like with my hockey journey, like moving over to girls hockey is like kind of just what you got to do. Yeah.
And I think I was major my second year Pee Wee, I think, because I would have been 2 years behind Kylie. I think one of the reasons that I decided to go is I went like youngest out of everybody. There was one tournament, I'm pretty sure both of you, the same tournament, 2 years apart, both broke your wrist in the same tournament, right?
I broke mine in like
I broke mine time
it was
too.
like
Was
the
it 2
same
years
year.
apart?
maybe.
But
Well, I
yeah.
saved a goal. So I broke
Okay.
my wrist.
Was it
They
silver
both,
stick?
it was
Yeah.
2 years apart though.
We both
like,
broke our wrist in silver stick.
What are the odds?
Yeah, so I said, no thank you. I would not like to break
Mine
my
was very
wrist.
self-inflicted though.
But still, it was like 2 years apart when we finally caught up to each other. It was like, okay, time for me to go. But like,
Herman's not
no
breaking a
silver
wrist.
stick.
I want my
Herman's not
wrist.
breaking a wrist. That's for sure.
But yeah, even like just the idea that like for like skill wise, you have a lot more time with the puck. As Kylie said, it's
100%.
like a survival game. Like you're not dumping the puck so you don't get blown up when you're like playing women's hockey, right? Like or like afraid that like yeah, those like the guys are a lot bigger. But also like in the social aspect, like you're no longer getting changed in a janitor's
Yeah.
closet
Mhm.
or a Zamboni room with some old creepy men. And like
That's
it
actually
just
so true. I kind of forgot about that part.
yeah, like so now
we
you
could
have
write
a
a
dressing room and
Book about that.
yeah, you have like a change room now with your actual like teammates that you can sit with and like actually like chat with. You're not taking off your skates to run halfway across the rink because it's cement, so then putting your skates on in between every period and like so like that was cool too. And like having all those friendships that are like you would never have otherwise. Like think of all of the girls from the valley that you would have never met had you not like switched over to girls. But yeah, it was definitely my first year was tough. I got cut my first year going over to women's hockey, but I'm glad I stuck around because I had some really great years after that.
That's a great point.
So I know there's only one dual sport athlete on the couch right now. I don't want to bring up any sort of turmoil, but Kylie's also a golf athlete at Northlands. I know you went there to play hockey. How did sort of golf become sort of another sport to play?
So basically the golf team was just a bunch of dual sport athletes. One of them played basketball as well, but a lot of my teammates played golf. And then this year they were like, Kylie, join, and like you can get a free bag and a free sweater. And I was like,
I'm really excited to see this bag. Your dad's been talking about it a
no,
while.
I didn't get one.
Oh.
But you took the bag that you
Yeah, I
got.
got like an old one, but they're like, you can be a practice player and just like get better at golf. I'm like, that sounds perfect. Like so excited. And then a bunch of people quit in the fall, and then I ended up going to every single tournament
Like, you
and
actually
playing
played,
in
yeah.
every single tournament, which is not really what I signed up for. So that was crazy. I have so much more respect for like people who actually play tournament golf.
Like a lot
'Cause
of
it was
girls
a
shoot under
grind.
par.
It was a grind.
Couple
Lots
breakdowns.
of tears. I just think it's so different too because it's such an individual sport, which I really never play. So like that was kind of hard because pretty much it's all on me. Like I don't have anyone else to rely on or.
And you always drive with someone from a different
Yeah, and
school,
you're
right?
playing with people from like different schools every time, and it's kind of hard when you're playing with people who like actually golf. And I'm like, I shouldn't be here, but it was a really great experience, and I definitely think I got better. And looking back, I actually like did have a lot of fun, and it was really cool.
Yeah, so you're used to golfing for fun with
Yes,
friends and family.
in a cart.
In a cart. What's it like golfing by yourself? And when you have those hard moments and hard holes, how do you keep composed in those moments? Because golf can be difficult.
I'm freaking out right now. I just
like
like
stuck my phone and like texted my coach because I think he would always come, and then the way that he kind of just like calmed me down, just like it's literally just call Kylie, like let's just chat about something else, and he would just walk with me for a hole and just talk about anything other than golf. And I think that kind of really helped me because in the grand scheme of things, like it's just a hole, it's just a round, like it really isn't as big of a deal as I was making it, and I shouldn't like have the expectations for myself to like be great at golf. Like I just started this year, so but yeah, it was definitely. And I also think like I can kind of calm myself down. Like I'm not super like hot-headed in the way, and someone here.
We need her. We need Kylie today, though.
Yeah, speaking
Yes.
about today, we're in a golf tournament. You guys are on a team with your family, a scramble team. Noah and I are on another team.
You.
Yeah, we're shooting.
Yeah,
We're
watch
shooting
out.
for even. We're going.
That's right. Even would be a really good score. What are you guys dressing up as, and what do you guys think your golf strengths and weaknesses are?
Oh no! Do you know what we're dressing up as?
Yeah,
I do, but the
Okay.
audience.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew it all.
Yeah,
Put a
Charles
picture.
is telling me.
Insert picture here.
We are going as the national champions. So my boyfriend Josh played Division III lacrosse at RIT. They are a very, very good program, like a legacy program. And his 5 years there, he made the national tournament all 5 years. And with the years without COVID, so sorry, one of those was a COVID year. So actually 4 of the 4 years they made the tournament. And of the 4 years, they have 2 gold national champions. So the 2 years, and then a bronze and a silver. So they're quite good. So we are all wearing Josh's RIT lacrosse uniforms. And I think we're gonna bring some lacrosse sticks and such,
I
but
heard he wanted to bring his helmets.
we have some helmets actually, I think. I don't know if we're gonna wear them, they're huge.
We're not gonna need the helmets. Whoever's in front of us
Yeah.
on the hole is gonna need the helmets.
We might be able to like project
putting that
everything
in
out.
here.
Whoever's beside me, they're gonna
Forewarning, you might want to wear these.
Well, it might be the whole beside you guys. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not fun. So, what are some golf strengths and weaknesses you guys have for yourselves?
Arwen, you wanna go first?
Gotta be
Oh, I'd love
honest.
to. So, my weakness is probably keeping the ball on
In front of me.
on front of
Straight.
me, straight. You know what? Like, I'm really good at finding my ball in the woods. So
That's a strength.
it works out well. I'm also really good at driving the cart. So
That's a
eat that.
I feel like I've really improved on my short game this year. I don't know. I think that's probably my strength. My weakness is definitely putting because I think putting's like really boring to practice, so I just never do it. And then I'm a horrible putter. I don't know how hard I'm hitting the ball every time. So
Do you find you're always short or always long, or is it
I'm
just all
always
over
short,
the
and then I
place?
always got yelled at like, "Don't leave your putt short." Like, but I'm trying.
My strength is for sure my off the tee block drive, because that's about as consistent as it gets. But my weakness is for sure like the speed of my club swing, because everything's 100 miles per hour. There's like no like
No half
putt-
swings.
no half swings.
swings.
Like everything goes full speed, and it literally makes my dad and my boyfriend cringe. 'Cause it's like
Kill
100
it.
miles per hour everything I hit. So
It's gonna be fun to watch you guys.
it's gonna be
I
bad.
hope we're close to you
Yeah,
guys.
I hope
No,
we're like
honestly-
behind you.
honestly, My mom's pretty good. Our mom's pretty
She
good.
is good. She is good.
She's sneaky good.
Mhm.
It's kind of annoying.
This question's for Arwen. So you are the first ever captain in your program history and the first ever captain in the state of Iowa.
Wow.
So first of all,
They should make a statue for you.
Slapped it out of my sister.
I was told not to bring that up.
Okay.
I was told not to bring that up.
That is true. You can bring that up if you want.
So first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that sort of honor mean to you going forward in this your senior year?
Oof. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like, looking at it from, like, a state view, it's kind of crazy. Like, let alone, like, the honor of being the first in a program's history is, like, almost, like, I've never really heard of that, right? Like, I've never seen anyone else kind of start up or, like, start a program and have this opportunity. So, like, part of me's nervous. I gotta like kind of set the groundwork and like set a good example for the rest of the captains that will come in this program. But I'm also lucky because I've been around hockey for so long and watched Taylor and Kylie's team, whether that's minor hockey or NCAA or U Sports. I've watched them and their captains. Kylie was an assistant captain last year, so I got to watch her and got kind of the inside scoop of what that leadership group was like. But like, obviously having them to run stuff by or like, or the what they their experience of captains, what they liked in a captain, what they didn't necessarily love in a captain. Like, I don't feel like I'm going into it totally blind. I also feel like there's not a lot about me as a teammate that I would really change this much this year. I think I was recognized by my coaching staff, I guess, for a reason, so I guess I'm doing something right. So we'd like to keep that going, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm grateful that my coach gave me this opportunity, and it's like, it's very exciting. I'm also just like very nervous. But
sure. Obviously your goal is to probably win a championship, but personally, what are some goals you have set for this upcoming year?
Like for me or for the team?
For you.
Probably being a good leader, and like a big goal for this year. So like last year was our team's first ever year. We had 12 or 13 skaters. That was tough on and of itself, but like the culture that we were able to create, and like the effort that my coach was able to like instill in us, we got success right out of the gate. We won our first 2 games. Like, we swept our first weekend. We were like, wow, this is crazy. You're like, so that was easy. Like, what is this? And then but having such a small team, it was tough to like have an edge for the whole 60 minutes, rightfully so. But like with just 12 or 13 skaters, we were like competitive. And I think having that background from last year and having all these girls coming in, it'll be weird because last year we had 7 transfers from Finlandia, so we were lucky enough to like know each other and have played each other before. And my coach from Finlandia, Coach Mike, was able to come with us, so we had that little group. And then we had 7 freshmen, so it was like weird because it was like split down the middle, but it was split transfers and freshmen, which was like kind of odd. Like, that would never really happen, right? But you wouldn't even notice. Like, it was almost seamless the way that we were able to like integrate each other. And I think the goal for next year, considering that we're probably bringing in 8, 10, 12 freshmen, but we have 12 people, it's the same thing again. Half the team will be freshmen and half the team will be like non-freshmen now. But I think to make that transition and like integrate everyone and make sure there's no cliques or nobody feeling left out, and if we can get those freshmen to give the same effort as our team gave last year, I think we'll be in really good shape this year, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah.
Yeah, you brought up coaches. I know between the 3 of you guys had a lot of coaches just in post-secondary alone. Yeah. I don't know the actual number. I think it was like 3.
I've had 3.
I've had 3.
Are we counting just head coaches?
Yeah.
Then 3.
So how has that sort of been a struggle, or even a positive? I know it probably is more of a struggle, but to sort of adapt to a new system sort of every year.
Wow. So like mine's a little, well, yours is similar to mine. We have the same.
Yeah.
So we were recruited by one head coach that was in the program, and within like a couple weeks of us showing up to the school, that coach had left and a new coach was coming in. So I didn't for sure learn a system for that that second coach, but it was for sure hard because you had expectations of where you stood with that original person that recruited you, and kind of all your like hopes and expectations kind of crash and burn, because a new coach, regardless of how they are as a human being, they don't really owe you anything. Like, their opinion of you is going to be how you perform, and that you have to kind of roll with the punches. So I think that in like that middle coach I had, the second one, it was tough, I think, overall, but we were quite successful as a program, so it was a balance of we were very good, but the culture wasn't great. And then that was 2 years of that coach, and the next 2 years I had a fantastic coaching staff where it was hard to learn the new styles and all the new expectations, but watching the program now, I realized those were building block years, and they're just getting better, and that coaching staff is pushing them in the right direction. So I'm very proud to be an alumni of that program, but for sure in the thick of it, it was hard.
I kind of agree with that. Like, whenever you commit somewhere, like, obviously you're committing for the place, but you're also committing for the coach. Like, you wouldn't go somewhere if you didn't like the coach. So, like, I committed in March, and then by the summer, she was going to pursue, like, a different coaching job. So, I think that kind of, like, threw me for a loop, because I didn't know what I was getting into with, like, a brand new coach. And again, like, you kind of have these, like, promises from coaches, and then you're going in and you're basically now fighting for a spot again, which is tough. Especially, like, I had 15 girls that were supposed to come in with me freshman year, so it's basically like a whole team, and you're fighting for, like, that spot, which was just a lot of stress. But my, like, second coach was great. Like, I thought he was amazing. And then last year, like, he left to go pursue a D1 job, and it was kind of nice because my third coach was, like, the assistant coach that I had for 2 years, and she was kind of like interim head coach this year. And I think she did, like, a great job, like, being thrown into a position that she was not expecting. And, like, that way, like, my systems didn't really change. I didn't really have to learn anything new. It's just kind of like a new body standing there trying to lead the way. But yeah, I thought they were all great.
And I have played 3 years with 3 different head coaches. Like, my freshman year was fine. That coach left at the in the summer-ish, and then I had Coach Mike come in and coach for my sophomore year, and then that's when we had to leave that school. But the 7 of us and Coach Mike came with us to Dubuque, where we got Coach Maddie, she's actually grew up in Dubuque, and she was out coaching out east, and came back for this position in her hometown, which is, like, super cool to have that connection. She knows the roads, she knows what's up, she knows, like, the ins and outs of the city. So, like, having her has been really awesome, and then I'll have her next year too. So we're not going 4 coaches 4 years. But it was also nice having Mike there too, a familiar face. But and then also we have an assistant coach, Coach Sam. So the coaching staff this past year and this next year have really been great, especially considering they kind of built a program from the ground in, like, 2 months, and we were still able to be so competitive. So that's why I think we're also excited to get into next year, because we have some, like, something to go off of. We have some foundation.
Sure. And Taylor and Kylie, you guys are done your professional careers, and a lot of athletes can struggle post-professional career, just finding ways to stay active and finding things to do. Anyways, do you guys have anything you guys do to stay active, or did you struggle with that a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like for me it hasn't quite hit me yet. I think come September, whenever, like, things would normally start ramping up, I'm really gonna feel it. I don't quite know what I'm gonna do, because, like, I'm going out to school in September. I kind of want to join intramurals. Like, they have a lug program there, so yes, like, I think they have like a girls league as well. So I'd really love to join that, and just, like, do something that's, like, familiar for me and kind of like a safe thing, like a safe activity for me. But other than that, I think I'd really love to, like, try something new. I'm not sure what, but
pottery.
But, like, some new activity. Because I feel like it's just been, like, hockey for so long.
She has to swim. We have a triathlon team.
Maybe
Are you guys doing the triathlon?
Yeah.
Are you guys doing that?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Who's doing what?
I'm swimming.
I'm running.
I'm biking.
I don't know how, like.
You're the youngest. You got the last stop.
Yeah. The only thing I'm mad about is that nobody watches the swim or the bike. Everyone watches the run.
Everybody watches the start of the swim.
Yeah, Kylie's gonna be like,
I'm like, my
please.
swim dad, like,
don't touch me.
But the reason that I'm happy with running, if I want to stop running, I can walk. If she stops doing anything, she might fall off her bike. If she stops, she'll drown. So I can just walk or sit down. So it's okay.
Sit down.
It's like, I'm done.
I need a break.
You gotta win.
You guys have a time you're striving for?
honestly, no. We just need Kylie to get out of the water, and then we'll be
Everyone
fine.
survive, I guess.
Once we're back on land, I think
Just
we're good.
finish
Yeah.
the race.
Get this free T-shirt. That's what we're here for.
To not embarrass my dad.
And I crashed the last time I did the triathlon, so not to
Do
crash.
you have a bike, like an actual road bike? That you...
Well, I used Mr. Fletcher's, and I crashed. I got clipped, went over my handlebars, got back on my bike, and then I couldn't, like, get the bike to move, and I was crying. And then I realized at the end of the race, after I finished the other 2 laps, like, full of gravel and, like, cut open, that when I had fallen, the brake pads had been squished,
Oh,
so
so
the tires were constantly breaking.
So you ruined Mr. Fletcher's bike.
Yes, I ruined Mr. Fletcher's bike.
So I know you two mainly in your first couple of years you kind of struggled with maybe a bit of homesick, you know, adapting to that U.S. Maybe lifestyle. So how did you guys sort of, you know, get better or like find strategies to sort of adapt to the U.S.? Because I know this year you were like almost not wanting to leave Northland, and you had a positive experience this year. So how did you guys sort of figure that out?
Yeah, that was tough for me because I left whenever like COVID was like in the whole COVID thing. So like not only was I leaving home, but I was leaving home to a place that I didn't know a single person. It was really far from home, and like my parents couldn't come and see me like how they probably normally would. So it felt like very isolating. And I was also like injured for half the year. And I just think it was just really tough to kind of live in dorms with like such big restrictions, and it got super like you could only have so many people hang out in a dorm, and I think it just got like a little bit cliquey, which was tough with like so many girls. But obviously like as we get out of the dorms and you know restrictions aren't as strong, and like you start to like really connect with your teammates. Like I had such a great time, and I think they're all just so amazing, and it's just so fun to like grow with them and become like such great friends, and like never wanna leave them. But
I also had a really hard time my freshman year. Not necessarily, it wasn't kind of like Kylie where she was like felt like she was like stuck, but I was still young. Like I was planning on staying that 5th year in high school, just like they both did, but because it was COVID, I thought that I would treat my first year in the States as my 5th year. So if it was like a total disaster, I would just go and start again, and I wouldn't really be behind, like because I was planning on staying that 5th year anyways. So I was like 17 when I went out to Michigan, and it was like it was hard. Yeah, but the thing that kind of got me through that first year was just like countdowns, like 100 days till I go home, and then I'd come back 150 days till Christmas. Like that's what I would do. But it wasn't an awesome year, but not the people. Just like the being away was hard for me. But I decided to give myself one more year, and that I was out of the dorms into a house, and I think that was why it like was such a gut punch when the school closed, was that I had just settled, and I was excited to be in the house for another year and come back and see everyone. Like it had just all like finally started to work out. So that's why that transition was kind of so hard, especially like my school announced its closure in March, so that's like late. I tried to get back, and I'm in nursing too, which is hard to like transfer credits and stuff. I tried to come home anywhere in Canada, anywhere, and they were like, sorry, like applications are past due, full wait list, blah blah blah. So I was like, oh, well, that kind of sucks, I guess. So I felt kind of trapped in the States, but we got really lucky with University of Dubuque because they kind of wanted to just like adopt the hockey. So like I was able to go with girls that I knew, like some, and even some like men's hockey players came too. So and now like I don't even really think about the fact that I'm going away from home. I'm just going back to school. But it was hard to adjust to another school too, like that part. And I was living alone this year, which was weird. But it kind of, as I got settled, it got uprooted, and then I needed to settle again. But now I'm so excited to go back for my 4th year. It's all working out, I guess.
That's awesome. What was your first year like?
I was really lucky because I didn't stay in the dorms. I did my 5th year of high school, so I was considered like older in a sense, which was great. So I stayed in like a townhouse with teammates. I don't remember being honestly, it's a long time ago. I probably was really sad, but like, I don't think I was as homesick. Like, my experience wasn't really homesick. But I for sure struggled with, like, being, like, it's hard. Like, you get on, like, a routine at home, and it's, like, you're always the same teammates and all these things. And it was great, and I made really good friends, but it's hard to find a routine again. And, like, freshman year is hard as a student also. Like, to really get your teeth into school and realize that you're not going to be like coddled through classes anymore. Like, you need to go to class. If you choose not to go to class, that's your own choice, and you go from there. But honestly, I don't remember being super homesick, but I do know it was a hard year playing. Like, I didn't play a lot, so that was tough. Like, I was sad about not being a huge contributing factor versus actually being away from home. So
I think your commute was also a lot shorter.
100%.
You were in New York,
Yeah.
and these two are in Michigan and
yeah.
I was Michigan and
You're
Iowa.
Michigan.
So I was 6 hours away from home. Kylie was 13. Arwen was 2.
I was 12. Now I'm about 15.
Yeah.
But what's the difference once you get over like 12? It's all
Yeah.
the same.
Exactly.
Sorry, Brennan. You made a point to it already, but you spent 2 years at one school called Finlandia. They shut down.
Yeah.
Sort of bring us through that, because I know you were sort of on the fence coming back to Canada. You know, will I play hockey? And then all of a sudden Dubuque came up. So take us through that.
So yeah, back to the little gut punch. We got a school-wide email. Meeting in 3 hours in the auditorium. All classes are canceled. See you there. And we're like, this is weird. Like,
Or what's a screenshot and we're like,
wonder what that's gonna be about.
no.
So, anyways, it was the Thursday before March break started. So like people were already gone on like trips, and like Finlandia's baseball team was supposed to leave the next day for they always go to Florida and play tournaments in March break. But pretty much they told us like they're shutting down operations and no longer enrolling students, and this year will be the last year. And obviously everyone in the crowd was like, what the hell? Like, even the teachers that were there, like all the professors found out that same moment. So they're like, oh, I'm gonna lose my job. Like, I was in nursing, so like it was a small little class, and a lot of those kids were local to that area. So like they were like, oh, I don't want to move away. I've been living at home this whole time. Like, what do I do? That night of the meeting, all coaches were released at 12 a.m. that night because they couldn't have, like, all sports got shut down. It was honestly the first thing I did was go to the bookstore and buy a Finlandia alumni t-shirt. So that was my first stop. But
yeah, I got sweaters. That can be like good for
Is it
money
gonna
someday.
be? I
I'm
hope so. I know. It was just a really long summer of like unknowns and like having literally no idea where I was gonna go. Do I come back to Canada because that's safe? Do I stick with my nursing cohort because I know them and I really enjoy like learning with them? Do I stick to my hockey journey because that was the reason I'm here in the first place? Like, lots of unknowns, but we actually got picked up from University of Dubuque in like 2 days, put together a trip. They sent up a bus to Finlandia, picked all of us up and brought us down and like got us, like fed us and put us in a hotel, and we toured the school and we met people and like went to the rink. So they like, it seemed like they were really into it and they like were really serious about like having us, which was nice that it was like something legit. We were like, oh, they actually kind of are like real about this and they kind of want us. But still, it was still a hard decision anyways, but I decided to stick with the hockey, and I'm really glad I did because now I have this whole last year of a really cool experience, and like not too many people get to end a program and then start a new one. Like it's kind of cool, right? And then especially it being the first women's hockey team in the whole state, like that's kind of cool too. So I'm glad that I stuck around, and then obviously I've met so many like awesome girls, and even like the school itself, like the people there are really nice, like everyone that we've met, and like obviously our coaches were really understanding about how it was kind of a tough situation, but it's like not really something you even think about, right? Like we're just going into the next year, like that's behind us. We're like this is who I am now. Like, so that stuff was shitty, but like, we look forward, and I'm really looking forward to next year. But it was definitely tough, but for sure.
So you two played against each other.
We did.
I will let the winner have their moment, but obviously you're trying to win every game as a team. But I'm assuming each team knew you guys were playing against each other.
Yeah.
Did it feel like there was a lot more drive in that game, and what was that whole experience like?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of other siblings would like maybe play the game very differently than we did, but I don't know. Like, I always felt like very nervous. It like really wasn't a game that like I enjoyed playing, because I just like I don't know. It just feels odd to like I don't know, like play your sister, and like obviously I want to win, but it's also like I kind of feel bad. I don't know.
Also, you would think that, so they're both defensemen, so they shouldn't see each other really,
And we always
and they
did.
managed to absolutely.
Anytime.
They ran into each other to the point that we thought like Kylie like blew her knee out on Owen's head. Like, it was like they shouldn't be seeing each other, and they drilled each other on the boards.
I always really looked forward to the games because I thought it was kind of fun, and especially like, and I knew a lot of Kylie's teammates too, so it was like fun like seeing them too, and they were always really good to me, like joking around and stuff. I always thought it was fun, but like for some reason it was for my first 2 years that was like our closest match was
Yeah.
Northland, so it was like that was the game that everyone was like, we finally have a chance, and then everyone would just like. Shit would just hit the fan, and it would just like go crazy, and it would just like, it was just always a really high emotionally charged game for the teams, not even me. I was like, oh, whatever, like there's Kylie, like whatever, hey. Every time I would go on a rush my first 2 years, she was always on the ice, so I never even got a chance. She was like, just a poke check, like, push me off.
Yeah, Kylie also decided this year when they played each other. Was it this year?
Yeah.
That she would get 3 points.
Yeah,
She
Kylie
scored.
hadn't
She
scored.
got. I think you scored another one, then you got an assist. Like it was like
She didn't
rude,
wait to
Kylie.
score her whole her whole career.
On our
She
win.
waits until the year that maybe we had a chance to score
Not
her first
today.
goal, her second
And
goal.
gets an assist. Yeah.
So
So-
for those watching, can you tell us the record between you two?
We've played
4 times.
4.
More than that.
No, 4.
Because
Once
this year was once. My freshman year was at least 2, maybe 3. Because we did a home and home.
Well, I've won.
Every
Every
single
time.
one.
Okay,
One
but one
time-
of them was tied,
A
and they won in a shootout, so that
Oh,
like
really?
doesn't count.
Did you get to shoot?
No, it
Did
was
you
over.
shoot?
Taylor
It was
Richmond.
over quick.
Taylor Richmond won.
Yeah, we threw 2 rich out there. Like, you got it.
What do you mean? It was set one shot and she was done?
It was probably like the 3rd one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's impossible.
So whatever.
So yeah, Arvin hasn't won.
Maybe this year that Kylie's gone, and her
Yes.
huge, massive, gigantic cohort of really talented, large girls, not like large forces, not large big, but like now that they're gone, maybe this is my chance.
Definitely.
So I'll kind of flip the script. You guys have played together, all 3 of you, for Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Kylie and Arwen played Thunder together, and then you guys also played on a spring team, your dad was saying.
Yeah, that team was fun. Yeah.
So take us through sort of the first MCS, then you two, and then that spring team. How did that sort of go?
When we play together, it turns into like pure chaos.
Especially when Dad was on the bench for MCS, because he was the head
Because
coach.
we really do like mess around in a sense, but also it turns into us just like absolutely like making fun of others like on the other team, because we'll just like mess around, like pass the puck only to each other and like go score, and then we're like giggling,
You're like,
like looking at like Kylie scored. There's like this like was exact situation where I had rushed the puck. The school hockey's a joke, but rushed the puck and tried to like drive the net and put it 5-hole, but instead I clipped the goalie and she ended up in the corner, and I had the puck still and she couldn't skate. So I passed it up to Kylie on the point. She took a one-timer into the empty net, and the ref called it no goal and specifically said the goalie had no chance.
We're like, isn't that the point?
That's the whole point of the sport. And it was like, he was like going like this, no, we're all like, what do you mean no? And he's like, she had no chance. We're like,
It's not your problem.
what? It's not my
She
fault
can't
she can't
stand up.
skate. Like, oh, those games just turned into a lot of like fun. Like
It was really fun.
we just joked around.
It is weird though, because in the States, high school hockey is like
Mm-hmm.
huge.
Not even the same thing.
It's massive.
Yeah.
So when we talk about how like our school hockey was a joke, everyone in the stage is like, what? We're like, no. We like have people who have never put on skates before on our team, but it's fun.
Like, we used to make a joke, like, we'd go and play Bishop Smith and Mara Ryan, who actually played with
My
your
sister,
sister, and
yeah.
she played in Lindenwood, so against me for a long time. She's a really good one of my friends. I played in Ottawa with her. Because we knew it was kind of like a joke of a game, we'd make an ongoing, like, bet that you could only score with slap shots. So she would hold on to the puck and just skate circles until she got like an open spot to take a full slap shot, because we said that's the only way it's fair if you could only score with slap shots. So like, she wasn't allowed to drive the net, she wasn't allowed to do anything, she had to take slap shots. So
It was entertaining watching you guys. We did the clock. I don't know if
I
Taylor
think
was
Taylor
still
was.
on
I
that
think
team.
Taylor was gone at that point, but you two were on it.
But yeah, and definitely in the valley, if you got a couple people that can skate,
Yeah.
you're gonna be
You're
a good
gonna be a
team
good team.
regardless. I know like all you guys were defensemen, but you guys probably just felt like forwards out there. You just kind of
yeah, it
with
would
your
hurt.
puck rushes
I
and stuff.
I did a lot of no passing. I would just I would go and stand behind the net and wait till someone came to get me, and I'd be like, okay, bye, and I'd skate the whole way to the other end. I also, like, honestly, it's embarrassing how, like, angry I would get, like, for no reason. Like, I was, like, screaming at coaches
amped up.
and, like,
Dad,
so
at
amped.
Dad.
Well, yeah, Dad and I would fight. It's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what's wrong with you?
But that week was fun too, because all of your friends that you have from like the Valley, like Ottawa Valley Thunder for Kylie and I, and Mara for Taylor, you're like playing against them too. So it's like your
Like a
teammates.
Thunder off.
Okay,
Yeah.
we need to make a very specific comment, though. Every MCS team we've ever played on, we had a non-goalie playing nets, so it just turned into the three of us, like, you were trying to play
It's
goalie.
like block
Block
shots.
Yes.
anything that
Yeah.
goes
Like,
in your-
please get hit. Like, we love our friends, they're both Kylie's age that played nets, but it was like, you better not let someone shoot, or you better get in front of it, or it's going in the net. Like, we were playing goalie.
Because who were your goal? You guys had Ava.
And Brina.
Brina played goal.
Brina had
Yes.
a perfect record.
She
She actually
remember
never got
that.
scored
We
on.
had
For
to
3 minutes.
We had to push Brina from the bench into the net.
Okay, I do remember that now that you
Like,
say
she
that.
laid
Yes,
down, like,
yeah.
you know, on her pad. and
Yes,
we
I remember
pushed
that.
her.
It was so much fun.
But honestly, Ava got good.
I remember Ava being pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when she would make saves, I go, oh, wow.
Or like my favorite thing she did was, instead of like going down, like she would stand, but instead of going down on her pad, she would just use her blocker and just stop it like that.
She just bend over.
Yeah.
But
That's
see,
a bit unorthodox.
so much
but it
fun.
works.
oh, I
Those
don't
were
think
good
we did a
ones.
lot of winning, did we?
For Mackenzie, probably.
Yeah, we actually did.
Yeah, there like
The first year when we were all three of us.
That year was really, yeah.
there were a lot of teams that didn't have a lot of people that could skate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my last year too, I think we did pretty good.
But then the issue would be is,
That
like,
was
we'd
my
always have, like,
sister's
one
grade.
person that
Yeah.
didn't know, like, what offsides were. So, like, you would, like, be standing at the blue line, like,
Let's
idling.
go
You're like,
Come back. And then what about your guys' spring team?
that spring team was elite.
We were gross.
It was so
That's when you guys just got like the best players from the
Yeah.
So
valley.
we just collected, like, every good, like, Kristen Rieger was on that team,
Yeah.
and Morgan, like, all of your friends. And then I brought Darcy Lappin, she played at Clarkson and then played at, oh my god, where'd she end up going? Colgate? Or vice versa, was at Colgate, went to Clarkson. She's so quiet, but she is so fantastic. And honestly, that was, like, it was unfair. Like, people were mad. Like,
Yeah.
it just turned into people getting angry because we were too good to be playing in that tournament.
I was too young for that. I
Yeah.
just had to watch. Number one fan.
Yeah, but there's a great clip of me punching someone in that tournament.
Oh, wow.
And Kylie and I's Thunder year,
I got one more.
Was-
I got you got one more too. Sorry.
that was
hang
good.
on.
Kylie's
good.
your
It was-
year in Thunder, like your cohort in Thunder too, was
So
also
good.
very good.
Yeah, we were very talented. I mean, it was fun, but it also got like cut short because you didn't play for like half of it.
Arwen has some
You
weird
didn't play.
injuries.
Oh,
Arwen gets
maybe I
hurt
didn't
a
You didn't
lot.
play for half of it. You had surgery.
No,
Oh.
you got stepped on
Yeah,
and broke your
that's what I
patella.
That was not when I was with Kai.
Oh.
I didn't play.
That was the same year.
I
No.
missed.
No, you got stepped on and broke your
Oh
knee.
right,
The
no,
same
I
I
year.
had
missed
surgery, so
school
I was
hockey.
still recovering from my
Oh.
surgery. So I wasn't really practicing. I was just like watching.
But she came in at like Christmas, so we got to
Yeah.
play like half the year together. But I missed the.
Is that the year you went to tryouts and puked?
Yes. I missed our last school hockey when Payton was there. because I
Oh,
broke my
yeah.
kneecap and I missed that hockey season.
You guys have had your fair share of injuries.
A lot.
For sure.
Yeah, like rifle them off.
It would be a long list.
It's a really long list. It's silly.
But it's
You go.
fun.
No, you got it.
Okay, so this year was the first inaugural season of the PWHL.
Yes.
So obviously, growing up, you guys didn't have that. I know me growing up, I was always like, oh, I wanted to be playing the NHL. You know, How do you think that this sort of will evolve in for girls hockey? You know, girls now have, like, young girls have a thing. You know, I want to grow up to play in the PWHL. So how do you guys sort of feel about the league and how it will evolve girls hockey?
I have a lot of strong feelings, a lot of them positive, because it's cool for me because it's a lot of people I played with and played
you
against.
played against
It's all of my
Taylor Heisey, right?
all of my cohort. Yeah, Taylor
Minnesota.
Heisey I played against the year before she went into the league. Julia Gosling, all these girls that got drafted this year are like my age or younger. I played against in Canada, like playing against them, and then in university kept playing. Kaylee Osborne, my Ottawa, just got drafted. Fantastic, and played her in university. So these are a lot of, like, I consider some of them my friends, and then acquaintances that, like, friends of friends know. Like, my really good friend Hunter Barnett, a lot of her friends got drafted this year, like that cohort. So I know a lot of them. I am a strong believer that the league's actually going to get better. I appreciate, calling them older is harsh, but like the 30-year-olds, the 35-year-olds. Exactly. These ladies who have really been a key point in Canadian women's hockey, but when they are gone from that league, it is going to be fast and it is going to be fun and it's just going to get better. Like, the hockey's going to change to be more of like an NCAA style versus right now it's a little bit of a mix. Like, there's like some slower players that are actually using, like, Hillary Knight is just body checking. Like, it's just turned into contact.
Her foot speed's not all there, but
Exactly. So she's not super fast, but then someone like Daryl Watts, who I played against and is my age, and she's amazing. She won the Patty Caz as a freshman. When the league changes to be fast, like when it starts to evolve, she's going to thrive because she's such a quick player. So I'm excited to see that, like, transition of years. So when you start to get these out of college level girls versus kind of this older cohort that's kind of holding on, it will really change the league.
That's a good point, because I don't know if you guys feel the same playing women's hockey, but just from watching, the league looks really physical. Like, just watching the games.
It's probably, honestly, too physical right now. It needs to, they got a hold of, like, that bit of contact, and it needs to kind of fizzle back out to the normal level of contact. There's always been body contact in women's sports, but I don't believe we need, like, the full open ice drop you at the blue line. Like, that's a little too much, and I think it will kind of fizzle out in transition, but I think it's pushed to be that because of the fans right now. Like, people love it. Like, there's people in the stands like, wow, like, girls are hitting each other. Yeah, and I'm like, that's not really part of the game, but okay, like.
Especially, I feel like a lot of girls, if they started in women's hockey and continued in women's hockey, you never taught how to actually hit or how to actually, like, prepare or take a hit. So people are just getting blown up.
Like, my scientist brain is like, oh, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that late, and like, someone, like, Marie Flippin's like 35. Like, she probably, her skull's getting rattled, and then she's like, just go home to her kids. She's like,
She has kids. But okay, she doesn't have kids.
What?
She has dogs.
Oh, you follow her? I don't. She doesn't. Arwen knows. She doesn't have kids.
Yeah, it is cool. I see a lot of girls that are like my age or like probably your age. If I knew there would be a women's league, I probably would have tried a little harder.
I know.
Like, but I think it's funny. It's cool to watch. We didn't get to one this year, but I would love to see one. Go to a game.
For sure. So kind of last question, we'll end off on this. For youth sports, especially lady sports, that are thinking about pursuing higher levels of sport, what would you say and what kind of advice would you give them?
I think I did.
Maybe
I
struggles.
think I asked Taylor this when
Probably.
that was the very last.
Like struggles that you guys went through that if you would have had somebody a little older than you that went through that same experience would have helped you out.
I think the best thing to happen to someone young is to be told no, whether that be like cut from a team at some point or being told like you like strictly you need to get better at this to become a better athlete, because I find now there's this realm of everyone is told their entire youth career, you are the best, you are so good, you're going to go so far, and they then struggle with adversity in university when they go to university or college, because it is a place of struggle and hard work, and you only get far with hard work, but every other person there has given the same or more effort than you. So to face some adversity before you get there is probably what I'd say, and learn how to take it with a straight face and move forward and just be happy to be playing hockey and enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd probably like say the same thing, like be able to like take criticism and work with it, because it's only going to make you better, and like makes you really like love what you're doing and like put the time in. And yeah,
I would take like different approach and say like 5, 10, 20 years down the road, you're not going to remember when this little minute thing happened that like blew up your world that day or that week or that month or that season. You're going to remember like the funny shit that happened, or like all of the friends you made and like all of the funny memories. Like that's kind of what sticks with you. Like, yeah, like for example, for me, I had a year where we went 0-25, and as much as that sucked, it's kind of funny now. It's like, I went 0-25 one year. Like, as much as it may seem like it's like horrible in the moment, like those are the memories that you're gonna literally have forever, and the friends that you're gonna go to their wedding and like hang out with their kids, and it's just like it sets you up for a lifetime of like stories and friendships. So like 100%. You just got to push through those really tough parts, because I think it'll be worth it in the end.
Good answers.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. We appreciate you guys giving your time. As Arwen told me yesterday, it's very hard to get all 3 Sims girls together, so it's a good thing that we were able to get this live. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys giving your time.
Yeah, thanks
for
guys.
having
us.
Thank you.
And I hope you guys lose today. So.
I gotta bring one thing up. You're the only ever Valley Sports Talk tournament champion.
I am.
I forgot to
Will you
bring
be
that up.
recruiting Kylie?
Yeah, we are. And my goalie's coming back.
Is
My
she?
really good
You
friend.
don't
You can't
For the
play. You're
Valley
not
Sports
here.
Talk tournament.
I want to play this year.
Kylie's flying home for
Kylie's
it.
gonna fly home.
Okay.
Yeah. We are the
Okay, next
first
year I'll be
ever
there.
winners. I'm not even gonna lie. I had way too much fun at the dance the night before the finals. Because Noah's DJing is so good, and Noah's girlfriend was so fun, and it was psychotic. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, you know, Sunday scaries, like it's one thing. Sunday scaries than trying to win a hockey game for some unknown reason. I've never been so anxious or stressed in a hockey in my life. In NCAA, U Sport, nothing. It felt like I was winning a national
Beer league
championship.
hockey tournament.
Yeah, I was having heart palpitations. I was on the bench like, I was like, I'm gonna die. Like I can't.
You're better than my aunt. Didn't my aunt not bring any of her gear?
No.
Who was it?
No, they literally didn't show up until 2 minutes before we were supposed to go on the ice. It was like they were blackout. Like it was awful.
We'll say the dance was fun.
It was so fun.
Do the dance after this year.
No, you
On a
can't.
Sunday.
It's Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Who wants to go
Yeah.
to dance on Sunday?
I was in a lot of pain. That was such a fun team. That was Haley's team. Haley's recruiting was electric. We were so good.
Now they just gotta add Kylie to the team, and then Arlen in a
Next
in a
year.
Who's
couple-
getting
next
who's
year.
getting the cut to take Kylie?
I just
I think
put
she's
him as the
adding a
roster
forward
player.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's
exactly.
You're on
We
the 3
can't.
forward lines?
No, we can't cut Barb. We need Barb.
You definitely need Barb.
Yeah,
And we
for sure.
need what's Cass's friend's name?
Nikki.
Nikki's so good. That was so fun. We had
Maybe-
so much fun.
Maybe she'll recruit me as a forward then, just so I have a spot.
No, you
High demand
No,
team.
she's gonna make you her D partner.
Is mom gonna coach again?
Yeah, mom
Mom
was a
Stacy.
mom and Stacey.
Actually, Haley was talking to me, and your mom she goes to a conference in Florida
Yeah.
every year, and it's the same weekend, and your mom canceled
She
the
moved
con-
it.
Yeah,
She's
it's
gone
not-
to that conference for as long as I
for
can
20
remember.
years, she
Yeah.
said, and she said she's not going.
Yeah, because
Committed.
Because it's her tournament
Yeah.
that weekend, and
Committed.
she has to coach.
she thinks she had more fun than we did.
She's an undefeated coach.
At
She
one
hasn't
point,
lost
Got
yet.
the Baileys in her coffee. Go, lady!
No, at one point, I wanted to go because like Nikki had been hit or something by some lady, and my mom goes, she grabbed my jersey and shut the door. You're sitting a shift. I
Oh, against
was like,
that.
what? Mom.
In a beer league tournament, you're getting sat by your mom. That's when you know.
Yeah, it's really bad.
But yeah.
That was good. That's a really fun tournament.
Well, we're happy to have you guys, and yeah, we
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
hopefully Noah and I can join the championship
Hopefully.
teams there that you guys have already done.
Yeah.
We would now like to welcome onto the show and welcome back to the show Nipissing basketball player Owen Haggerty. We had him on episode 63. He was just finishing his second season. My bad. Just finished his second season, and he just finished his third season here at Nipissing. But yeah, Owen, how have you been? Obviously, Haven't seen you since school ended, but how have you been?
I've been great. It's good to be back with you guys. I guess it's been just over a year now, but the summer's going good. End of the school year went good, so it's good to be back talking with you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate having you on again. Last time we talked to you, it was just as the season ended. And you were pretty hopeful for the upcoming season. Um, not to bring you down a little bit, but can you tell everyone how the season went for you this year, you personally and you guys as a team?
You know what? I think I had the most growth that I've had since being at Nipissing. We finished with the same record, 5-17, I think. But we lost a lot of our old matured players, but so we were a fairly young team this year. Finishing with the same record, we ended strong. We had two good wins for us that we needed to just get ahead of some teams, which was really nice. But as a player, I think I really grew this year, and I think I took that next step that I needed to get into this next season coming up.
Yeah, so you started this year, you started to sort of find your way into the rotation more, obviously, becoming a third year player. So what sort of stuff did you take from getting your real first, big minutes in OUA basketball that you can sort of take forward going into your senior season?
Uh, you're gonna make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. It happens. It's just how you can push through and not really let the nerves get to you or think about too much. If you're subbed off for making a mistake, obviously there was a reason you were subbed in, so you're probably gonna get that chance again. So just to go out there and just play the game that you know how, because there's a reason you're getting put out on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. This year, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys went to Spain?
We went to Portugal and
Portugal.
Spain
Por-
this year.
Portugal and Spain. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What that experience is like on and off the court? Um, how the game might be different, and if you think that's an important part to your season for your team.
It was amazing, honestly. It was beautiful there. We spent a lot of time traveling from different cities to kind of play games. We played 5 games there, 3 of them in Portugal and then 2 of them in Spain. And honestly, I would say the biggest difference is the amount of ball movement. It's a much more of a team game there compared to here, especially with our level. It's a lot of guys wanting to just play hero basketball, but over there they know what it's like to play as a team, and especially when you're playing where your job is on the line, right? When you're playing a professional, like it's your career, you want to do everything you can to help your team win. And of course make yourself look good in the process, but it's all about getting wins, right? So, and the other thing is reffing. They are harsh there. They do not care who you are. They're making the calls. I like the refs there. It was fun.
Yeah.
So we had Mark on. Sorry, Brandon, I don't know if you had a follow up there. We had
Oh,
Mark
okay.
on. Obviously, Mark, we're all in the same program at school. He had a couple of funny stories, sort of, going over there with his teammates. All their visas got declined. Anything that you sort of remember other than on the side of the basketball side of it?
Um, there was one night. It was during one of Mark's volleyball games. Our coach let us go off on our own for about an hour, and he just said, "Be back here at 8:30." And we all ended up trying to find a place to eat because we were starving and we were just on a bus for 2 hours. So we all went out and we all split off into groups. And my group, we went to 4 separate restaurants that we walked to before we finally found one that was one open and 2 served beers. So we got a bunch of beers, didn't end up getting any food because it was either too expensive or we just didn't have time at that point. So we had the brilliant idea of ordering Uber Eats to the gym. So we all ran back to the gym, and by the time we got there, we were all sweaty and feeling great from those couple beers we had. But then we had McDonald's waiting for us, so that was a pretty fun night.
McDonald's is always the best cure, right?
Oh,
How is
thanks.
McDonald's in Portugal compared to Canada?
The chicken nuggets were a little different,
Okay.
but the Big
Better
Mac is
word.
the same everywhere, right?
So
So
you're saying if I ever go to Portugal, I have to try McDonald's just to sort of get a
yes,
difference?
I would try it. I don't like change, but I would try it once just to see what it's like compared to here. But don't do it
Were
more
the
than
Okay.
chicken
once.
were the chicken nuggets better or worse?
I thought they were worse, but
Oh, okay.
Okay,
that's
okay,
it's a
maybe
hot
some
take, right?
Portugal people. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. In and around that time area, you did have a bit of a minor injury. You did have a wrist injury.
Minor? What this guy's made of
Well,
injuries?
well, yeah, I know. Owen's pretty soft. That's why I'll
Yeah.
say minor. But you had a wrist injury. Can you tell us a little bit about how that affected? Because I know that was during your trip too. You were dealing with that. So how did that affect your trip? How did that affect your season? And kind of how'd you recover from that?
Well, my big thing was I always like to take charges, and that was my downfall because in our first game I took a charge and landed funny on my wrist, and I ended up not playing in our second game there. And it really sucked. By the third day we were there in our third game, my wrist was hurting, but how can you like not pass up this experience, right? And to be able to play in Portugal. So I got my teammate who's no trainer to try and tape up my wrist, and they just put a little piece of tape right around my wrist. And it was my shooting hand too, which was the worst part, right? Like so now I'm warming up and I couldn't do much, but it was probably one of the best games I had, especially in Portugal. Didn't need to shoot the ball, so that was awesome. I just kind of stayed under the rim and had a couple little floaters, which is nice. But after that, it kind of just kept getting worse and worse. And then I ended up getting that wrist infection, which was just horrible. But luckily, it was right in between our preseason and our season starting, so I didn't actually miss any games due to that wrist injury. But it did really suck. I felt like I was just getting my shot back, and then my wrist kind of took that injury. But it's good now. I'm all healed up. I had lots of tape going over my wrist. I probably went through like 12 rolls of tape just from that injury, but I'm good now.
Yeah, that's good.
Obviously, I'm sorry, Brian.
I was just going to say, when you got back to North Bay, is there anything when you actually saw actual trainers and stuff, was there anything specific for recovery, or was it just kind of time?
It was time. It was they didn't really know exactly what it was. I went to emerge. It wasn't broken or anything like that, but it for us it was, if you're practicing, you're practicing, right? It's you spend 1 week not practicing, you're out of the lineup for who knows how long, right? It's something that I didn't really want to climb back, especially when I've earned the right to be where I was. So it was a lot of tape. It was trying my best to not re-injure it or re-fall on it or anything like that. So rather than that, it was just time.
I was gonna ask for like an injury where you're out, you're not able to participate. You're sort of watching either in Portugal games or practices back in, but when you're trying to get to the start of your season, what's that sort of like on the mental aspect?
Um, it's a good question. It's always, how much do you want it? It's like how much do I want to be on the floor and how much do I want to be helping my team? I think that was the way I saw it. So like when I wasn't playing that game in Portugal and I was watching us make mistakes or big things where I was like, I wouldn't do that if I was on the floor. So it was kind of hurting mentally to not be out there and not being able to practice, but I was really excited to be back and ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. Looking a little bit to the upcoming season, as Noah said, you're going into your fourth year, I believe.
Fourth year school, but it's my third year eligibility, but it is my fourth year with the team.
Yeah, so your fourth year as a team, obviously that kind of turns you into a bit of a vet. How does you oldie? How do you feel your role has changed, and how have you kind of adapted into that role, and what do you look to bring to your team next year?
I really like that. I'm hoping to be, or if I'm not already, a guy that people can come to with questions about either on the court, off the court. And I'm kind of the guy that you could look to know what to do. Like if you're not sure how to do a drill, or if you're not sure how a defensive rotation should be, you look at me and I'm probably doing it properly. I've been there long enough. I know what coach is like. I know what to be doing on the court. Yeah, and just being in the right place, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
This question sort of leads off that. So I've seen a couple of your games live, and then I've also tuned in on computer watching it. I noticed that you're a big like guy for communication as a team, whether you're on the bench, you're always leading that defense chant, or even whenever I see you guys huddle after maybe a foul and they're taking a free throw, you're always the one to get the team in. How does sort of how do you use communication and how do you sort of use that in your game?
Sometimes it's tough being, not the main scorer or the guy who's going to play the most minutes, but it's just about being assertive and getting on the floor and just making sure everyone's on the same page, right? If you have 5 guys on the floor that want to communicate and want to talk, it's easy. But when you get guys that, are forgetful or just are upset with something, a foul that just happened or someone got scored on, stuff like that, missed a shot maybe, it's the ability to get everyone together and to make us a team again, and I think that's the most important part of basketball is being able to get everyone together as a team.
Yeah, for sure. You made a little point there where at points you're not the main scorer. We might have asked this question already, but that was 13 months ago. What is it like going from high school to where you were probably the number one guy to going into a team where obviously you weren't getting play time, but um, you're not one of the best shooters on the team and stuff like that. So how does that transition?
Well, like you're saying, in high school you have plays that are designed for you, for you to score, and then when I get here, it's if I'm even in a play or on the floor to run a play, especially in my first year, it was do your job, set a good screen, and then go rebound, right? But this year, I'm hoping that with age and with experience, hopefully we'll be getting some plays ran for me this year, either just to have the ball in my hands a little more, which is what I'm hoping for. But it definitely was a big adjustment and a big change, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of people stop playing basketball or try and change teams because they're used to that too much from high school. So it was a difficult adjustment, but I think I was able to manage for 3 years now.
Yeah.
You guys had a really young team this year, if I'm not mistaken, where you guys are you're not losing a big amount of players. Um, so how can you guys sort of move forward, sort of using this year as a building year to, get those guys, um, to more playing time, and how do you use this past year to move forward to next year?
Like you were saying, we really aren't losing a lot of guys. I'd say of our key 12 guys that had lots of minutes last year, we're losing two. We're losing two big men. So obviously we'll need to find some more big men because it's kind of hard to play in this league without having someone with size, right? And I don't really want to do it again this year. So, um, but we have a lot of experience and guys that have been here 2-3 years that are going to be back this coming season. And what's really amazing and what's going to help us is we have most of those guys, if not all of them, staying for a majority of the summer in North Bay, which is really rare, especially up in North Bay compared to where most of these guys are from. So we have a lot of our guys staying most of the summer and training all together. I think that's the most important part is that us staying all summer, we train together and we get better as a team, right? Rather than going home and training on your one-on-one skills or, we get to train as a team. We get to play 5-on-5 as a team all summer.
Yeah, so are you in North Bay right now?
Right now, I'm home back in Timmins, just for a couple weeks. But yeah, I'm in North Bay. I got a full-time job there all summer, so I'm there training every day.
Cool. So can you kind of just explain what practices
Oh, you stole my
look
question.
like with your team? Because did I steal your question? Because like you said, you're not on school time. You're not even on your season or preseason training or anything like that yet. So are practices kind of self-ran, or does your coach still have a part in that?
It depends on the availability of our coach. Right now, he is the assistant coach for the I believe the Brampton Honey Badgers for the CBL. So when he is here full time, we do like almost a full normal practice if we have over 10 guys. So that entails, some dribbling, some shooting, just everything you can think of for normal practice, and lots of full contact, which is awesome. That's something you can't really do when you only have two guys coming in for a workout, right? So it entails a lot of that. But if he's not there, it is either get in on your own and get shots up or work on like a new skill. Or we have assistant coaches that we can get in with and do some of their workouts, and hopefully still get in some contact and some drills that way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna jump in here with one more note quickly,
Yeah, you're
just because
good.
it kind of piggybacks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Noah and I were in a basketball practical with you. We've had your head coach and your assistant coach as a practical teacher, so we kind of know what kind of dummy down versions of your practices can look like, and what your coaches are like personality wise. But can you tell us what it's like playing for the coaching staff you guys have there?
I think it's really cool. I think they're all very different. So last year we had one main head coach and then I think five assistant coaches. And they would come in when they could because some of them had like full-time jobs and everything. So but we had practices where we had five assistant coaches at our practice. And it's so cool because they're all so different. We have some that have played overseas. We have some that have played full 6 years of university. We have shooters, we have point guards, we have bigs. It's so there's something you can take away from every single coach we have. And off the court, they're just like us, you know. They like watching basketball. They like talking about, you know, sports, talking about anything going on really. So they're easy to relate to, easy to talk to, um, and they are great to learn from because not too long ago they were in the same position that myself and our teammates are in.
That's a good point.
So since we're obviously in the off season right now, I know a lot of players sort of go into the off season, sort of looking or focusing on one thing that they sort of want to improve in their game. Obviously, they want to improve, always trying to improve and go up. But what's like the one main thing that you're sort of focusing on this off season to better?
Um, I think just my ball control and my decision making, I'd say. I'm trying to move into more of like the small forward shooting guard role this year. So that means having the ball in my hands more, and trying to make things happen. And I think just having the confidence to be able to take care of the ball and to make smart decisions is what's going to help our team the most.
Definitely. Um, not 3-point shooting.
I'm already a pro at that, right?
Yeah, true. Oh, you are.
Well,
That's a good question to ask. Well, I guess not a good question to ask, just a good statement to put out there. Can you tell everyone, just so they know what we're dealing with here, can you tell everyone your 3-point percentage this year and your free throw percentage, if you don't mind?
they were actually the exact same. They were
Oh,
both
were they? Oh,
33.33% on the year.
As in you went
okay.
1 for 3?
Yeah, no, I think I was 3 for 9 on both.
Okay, okay.
That's not
Um,
bad.
yeah, but that was in 22 games, and I was
Wow.
lucky to get the ball to shoot it, and you know, but I have high hopes for next year, and yeah, obviously I'm going to be getting shots up and working on my shooting, but the main thing I wanted to focus was on that ball control. But thank you for
It,
bringing that up. I
yeah,
appreciate
no problem. Kind of
you
going off
understand.
that though. It's just a joke because none of us are really great shooters out there. But did you ever were any of your 9 free throws kind of close game situations or end of the game situations, and what's that like taking a pressure free throw like that?
So not, I was honestly, I was lucky. This year, no, none of them were. But last year I did have some, it was my, we were in Algoma last year, so Sault Ste. Marie, and I subbed into the game in the last minute 30. I didn't play the whole game, and I subbed in with the last minute 30. We were up, I think 8 with about a minute 30 left, and I ended up getting fouled with about 30 seconds left, and it was, I think, a 6 point game at that point. But it wasn't as much where if I hit these or if I miss both these free throws, we're going to lose the game. It was more the plus minus throughout the league. So we wanted to have a better record than Algoma.
Mhm.
So we needed to win by as much as possible. Luckily, I did make both of those free throws, but it's stressful. It honestly really is, especially subbing in and being cold and then having to shoot free throws. That kind of it's a real mind thing, right? Like it was tough.
So let's take a look, just sort of these next. Obviously, are you gonna play your? Okay, this is the first question. Are you planning to play your teacher? I'm assuming you're still planning to go to teachers college first off.
I am still going to teachers college.
Do you
Yeah.
plan to play during your 2 years and extend your eligibility?
I'm not sure yet.
Haven't thought about that.
It's definitely on my mind. It's gonna be more thought about throughout the summer and beginning of the season kind of thing. I just know it's busy. It's a lot of hard work and heading right into teaching. after I'm done teachers college, it kind of feels like I need a bit of a break kind of in between, right? So if I can, I'm not sure yet. It's TBD.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so my follow-up question,
Yeah.
moving past this, as I stated earlier, you're very loud on the court. You know, you like to have your voice heard. So going down the line, would you ever consider the idea of maybe coming back, you know, coaching like a university team like this?
Oh, I don't know. I think obviously if I was offered any kind of position to help out, even if I was in teachers college and they just wanted extra hands, I'd probably do it. More down the line, maybe when I'm much older, I do want to teach and I do want to be full-time teaching and helping children and helping kids and everything like that. Um, but yeah, I think I'd like to think my knowledge is strong when it comes to basketball, and I think I always want to learn more about the game and see how it's changing eventually. So I think absolutely, if I was offered any type of coaching position, I would definitely do it.
Yeah, I think you'd make a pretty good coach, to be honest.
Thank you. I'm planning on coaching in high school.
You haven't made
Yeah.
my shooting
So
any better yet.
what's that?
You haven't made my shooting any better yet.
No, you're right. I haven't.
No, but you're big in the X's and O's and stuff like that. And like Noah said,
Yeah.
you're a loud voice, but not in like a rude way. You're just like you're not afraid and you're confident and stuff like that. So I mean that's pretty
Appreciate
good
that. Yeah.
qualities as a coach. But anyways, that's enough of the nice stuff. I'm sick and tired of that. We asked this question last time, so we'll ask it again. I feel like it's a pretty cool question. Um, what are your goals for yourself personally this year, and what are your goals as a team heading into this season?
I'll do team first. As a team, I would love to make playoffs. I think we would have a great chance if we play as a team and we play our best ball all year. Last year the league was really even, so I think we could, we could be in the hunt for at least a playoff spot. I'm hoping we make playoffs for sure. I would love to make playoffs. And then for myself, just I want to be recognized in the league for my defense. Because I take pride in that. And I think I have fantastic defense, not to toot my own horn or anything like that. But so I think best goal I can think of for me and what is something I want to achieve is defensive player of the year for our league. I have the length, I get my blocks. I just got to play more, I guess that's what I can say. But yeah, defensive player of the year would be something I would strive for, and I think I could maybe do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This question's kind of like a deeper one. So obviously growing up, you know, you fall in love with the sport. I think from talking for me and Brandon, I think that was hockey, obviously. So what sort of made you like fall in love with the game of basketball to want to play it at a high level and to want to pursue it to where you are now?
Great question. Growing up, I kind of played a lot of sports. I did karate. I played soccer growing up. And then once in Timmins, we didn't really have like rep basketball. So it wasn't really introduced to me till I was in about grade 6. And even then we only played in one school tournament. But once I hit middle school, so grade 7, I think is when I really fell in love with it. It was just, I don't want to say it came easy to me, but I understood plays right away and I understood what to do out there. Obviously I wasn't very good at scoring or just because I didn't have the years of repetitions that some other kids might have had from other schools. But yeah, I pursued it. It became my sole focus once I hit high school, and I think that's really when I hit my stride, and I really fell in love and wanted to pursue it post-secondary.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off this. I feel like all of us as kids, we watch professional sports and we see someone that we try and duplicate their type of game into our game. Is there someone in the NBA
My
that
question
you
again.
watch? Oh, so
Why are you
say it
Do
quicker.
you guys not like share your questions
No,
for each other?
no.
Okay.
You think we're that good?
No,
You
it's
know,
not that good. Is there someone that you watch that you tried to replicate your game around?
right now I've been watching Jason Tatum a lot. Um, I like his size and the way he plays. And I just love his confidence. Like even though he's the star of the team, there's a reason he's the star, right? And I've been watching a lot of players, and I think the biggest thing is just playing watching their confidence and looking at the shots they take and just knowing that they think it's going to go in every time. But Jason Tatum is someone that I like watching play.
Whose is yours, Noah?
That I think Owen is like.
No, that you're like.
Oh, definitely like a Klay Thompson spot up shooter.
Oh no, you're more of a Rondo, if anything.
Yeah, I am definitely a Rondo.
Yeah, definitely a Rondo.
Brandon's the Klay
That's
Thompson.
like me in the drills. Rondo.
I don't know if you guys believe this or not. I think I'm like a Kyle Lowry out
I
there.
think you're like a Chris
Yeah,
Boucher
I
the way
think
you shoot.
that's your or like a Payton Pritchard, just someone who will lock up the best player and not be
Maybe
afraid
not the best player.
get an elbow in the face.
I might take 6 fouls a game, but
Yeah, yeah,
I might not last the whole game, but
yeah.
I'll be out there trying my best
There
as
you
long
go.
as I'm out there. Do we have
Going back to the playoff sort of situation. I'm not honestly sure how the playoffs work in OUA. So give me sort of a rundown of how that works, like the seeding wise, and sort of what you guys or like what your projected record would have to be to make
Yeah,
playoffs.
so last year was last year I'll use last year's kind of playoff bracket and stuff like that because this year it I think it's changing again for the coming season. But last year there were three divisions, there were three divisions, just like similar to hockey or basketball kind of thing, but there were three. I think it was the Central, East, and West kind of thing. I don't know exactly, but each division had, I think, 6 teams ish. And the way it works is the best team in each division gets an automatic bye in the first round, as well as the next best team throughout all 18 teams or whatever there are. So the top 4 teams basically get a bye. And then after that, it just goes the next 8 best teams.
Okay.
So whatever records are. So last year, I think you needed a 9 win or 10 win. So I think you need to go 10 for 12 to make playoffs last year.
So does that mean 12 teams make playoffs?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
How many total? Sorry, Brian.
16 or 18. I want to say 16. No. 18, I think. I think there's 18.
So 6 teams don't make it.
6 teams don't make it. Yeah.
You guys will make playoffs this year for sure.
I hope so.
Is this your brother's last year?
It is. So he had his grad night last year, but after a lot of thought, he decided he is going to come back and play his 5th and final eligibility year. So
do you feel like there's any extra pressure, maybe not on the team, but on you personally to try and have a successful season for your brother to kind of send him off on a good farewell tour?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It actually brings me back to high school. When I was in grade 11, he stayed and he did a victory lap, so he was grade 13. And we played together for 1 year in high school, and I felt the biggest sorrow I've ever felt playing basketball was after we lost our last high school game at OFSA. And I told him after the game, I said, I'm sorry, like I feel like we could have done more. So I'm hoping there's a better outcome this year. So that'll be in the back of my mind probably all year.
Has your brother played a playoff game?
Yeah. Yeah. My first year. So the year I redshirted, it was like the COVID year. So it was a little easier. I think we had a record of 7 wins or 6 wins or something like that. But we made playoffs. We lost the Queens by like 5 in their home gym. That was
I remember watching that game in my res room.
It was close all game, and it was really cool to be a part of. It really was. So Jack I think he did play in that game, so he has some experience, but of everyone on our team, him and our Ricardo, he's our Portuguese teammate. He's also played in that game. So other than that, it was just me that was around at that time.
So goal is to get your brother a playoff win.
Playoff win. That's the goal. Get him that win.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to like a happier subject just as we sort of wind down. So this is a really sort of random one, but me and Brand sometimes talk about like pop culture. I know that sometimes people look to music to get them pumped up. Do you sort of have a go-to song or go-to sort of artist that you listen to before a game?
I'm actually really upset that you asked me that because I'm the last guy to ask that question to. I'm not a guy that'll wear headphones before a game or anything like that. And I'll listen to whatever music guys play when they're in the gym. But if it's just me, if I'm alone, I put on musicals. I put on music from musicals to listen to when I'm shooting and
We're
listening.
definitely gonna have to clip that for TikTok.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. More specifically, if you've ever watched, it's Hamilton, and there's a song in there called "My Shot," and it is probably my favorite to listen to when I'm like working out or anything like that.
Can't say I was expecting that
I
answer,
know.
to be
I'm
honest.
actually I'm really upset you asked me that. I just I'm not gonna lie to you and say I listen to Drake all the time. Or anything, but
Drake or Kendrick?
Ooh.
you asked me that 5 years ago. I'm telling you Drake all day, but I'm so out of the loop now. I think I'll switch it up and go Kendrick.
Okay, so he's swayed. He's been swayed.
He's been
Yeah.
swayed.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Kind of on the same question as Noah just asked, sir. If you don't have any, is there any pregame rituals or something that you know of that your teammates have? Any in specific?
Anything weird that you want to out
anything
them?
weird?
Honestly, I don't think so.
You guys are boring.
I had one teammate who always ate candy, and especially at halftime, he would always steal some candy from his bag before our coach came in to talk to us. But other than that, no, I can't really my brother tried, and I would like to get it back on this year. There was I don't know if you know Jukebox Hero.
Yeah,
of course.
Of course we do.
The amazing song, right? So we would try playing that, but there were just so many guys on our team that wouldn't really get into it, which kind of sucked.
Standing in the rain.
Exactly. It was honestly there were like 4 or 5 of us that were getting so hyped to that song before every game, but other than that, it was a bit of a downer.
Yeah,
I want to bring it back though. I would love to bring it back. Maybe a new
would-
song, spice it up a little, but
You gotta do something.
if you guys have any recommendations, let me know.
I'll think. I'll get back to you.
Think about it. Yeah.
My final question is NBA related. As we're recording this, tip-off of Game 5 is just happening. Obviously, by the time this releases, the series will most likely be over. What do you think the prediction? What's your prediction? Is it going to end in 5, 6? Is it going to go 7?
When I was watching the Mavs tear it up against the Timberwolves, right? No, who they
Yeah, they played T-Wolves in the conference finals.
Yeah, so when I was watching that and they won that, I messaged my brother. I have the receipts. I said Celtics in 6.
Okay.
So back home. No, it'd be in Dallas. My bad.
It'd be in Dallas, yeah.
So, but I think they're gonna win tonight. I think they're gonna win in 5. I think Celtics in 5. They're just, as a team, they're just dominant, you know?
They do look dominant.
Yeah.
Very dominant, except for Game 4, but
What did I say last year? I think I said the Lakers last year.
Yeah, you did.
Probably.
Yeah.
Real LeBron bandwagon.
That was a total bandwagon move.
Luck.
No,
So, okay, I guess we got to do that again. My final question is: give us a way too early next year prediction.
Next year?
Yeah.
You know what? This is tough. Let's go. You know what? Celtics back to back. That's you heard it here first. Celtics back to back.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. I got nothing left, unless Owen, you have any final thoughts before we end it?
No, it was nice to be back here, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. Again, thank you for giving us your time.
Of course.
We wish you luck in your upcoming season. Hopefully, we get back in those playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Brandon will definitely be out to a couple of games. But yeah.
We would now like to welcome onto the show another familiar face. She was in episode 50, and she does unfortunately happen to be my sister. We would now like to welcome back to the show Carleton Ravens women's hockey player, Payton Miller. Payton, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Very good. I'm good. So you just finished your first year. Whenever we had first talked to you, or whenever I first talked to you on episode 50, you had just committed. You were still in the middle of your last junior year playing for the Lady Sens. Just sort of give the viewers a recap of your first year, how it went, and stuff like that.
So my first year, it was a little intimidating entering because being the youngest and people being 4 or 5 years older than you, so that was intimidating at the start. We had some pre-season games where we went down to Guelph and Brock, and Guelph's a very good team, so we lost that game and then tied Brock, and that's where I actually scored my first goal, but it didn't count technically because it was preseason. But that was pretty exciting because I tied it up and put it into overtime for the first away weekend. Our season was full of ups and downs. We got onto good streaks with teams and some bad lulls after we got back from the break. But overall, I enjoyed my year. I got lots of playing time. My coach and I created a great connection, so that was good in terms of enjoying the year. We didn't end up making playoffs, which was unfortunate, but I think we'll have bigger, better things next year as we're changing league to the OUA because we were in the RSCQ.
Yeah, I was just supposed to bring it up. So you were in the RSCQ, which had 6 teams in it?
Yeah, so it included McGill, Concordia, University of Montreal, Bishops, Ottawa U, and ourselves.
Concordia, who went on.
And it's a very competitive league.
They ended up winning them.
Concordia won nationals, Montreal won bronze.
So 2 of the 6 teams in the league ended up moving on. So now you're moving into the OUA next year, which has, I don't even know how many teams.
With including us and Ottawa U, who are both moving, it's up to 14 teams.
How many make playoffs?
So they have kind of a new setup where I'm not sure fully how it works, but there's like a qualifying game for I think 2 automatically don't make it, and there's like two qualifying games, and then it goes quarter semifinal. So I think, and those are the qualifying games for just one game.
So whenever I talk to Mark, it's the same. It's the same sort of system.
But we just got our schedule, and it's like 90% finished, but our coach has already given it to us. But it could potentially change, but it's pretty well solidified.
Yeah, how do you think your team will do in the OUA compared to last year in a different league?
So I think, well, with Concordia and Montreal being top 3 of the country, there's a much wider range with 14 teams rather than 6, and 2 being very strong. And Bishops was also very strong as well. I'm actually surprised that Bishops didn't move on over Montreal. So that just goes to show how strong the actual league was. I feel like the OUA is a bit different. It's a bit more physical, my coach was trying to recognize. Whereas the RSCQ is more, they don't really like to be touched. They have more skill, but the OUA is more physical. So I feel like if we can adapt to that play, we don't have to be the most highly skilled team. We can just physically outwork them, and I think that should help our odds. But again, there are still some great teams like Nipissing and U of T, Guelph, like still some top teams there.
It also must help that you're only playing teams like a maximum of 2 to 3 times. Like, how many times did you play Concordia last year?
So we played each team 5 times. So this year, it's 1 home, 1 away.
Yeah, so that'll help it
a lot easier.
A lot more balanced.
A lot more balanced.
Yeah.
Chances to win. Bring us through sort of the transitioning out of junior hockey and into your first years. Give us some sort of maybe bumps or some things that you noticed in your transition.
So first of all, I was already pretty busy with traveling to Ottawa because that would take up a lot of my time. But I did find the schoolwork to the amount of hockey was actually quite hard to adapt to because we practice Monday to Friday, games Friday, Saturday, while Friday was a pregame skate. We worked out 2 to 3 times a week depending on the game, so we pretty much only had 1 day off a week, and then with an additional amount of a lot of schoolwork. So it was kind of a bit challenging to adapt to that kind of lifestyle, as well as like making sure I get the proper sleep because practices were majority at 8 in the morning, only 1 afternoon practice. So just making sure I get the proper amount of sleep, eating properly, and school and work was a lot to balance, but I feel like I adapted well and that the school year went well, and I got the results I wanted overall. So I feel like it was a successful first season for me individually.
For sure. And to kind of go off that question, you mentioned earlier that you went off pretty young. A lot of your friends are still in high school, right? So how is that transition kind of moving off and living on your own? I'm sure you had roommates. You can kind of talk about that. But what's it like moving on when most of your friends haven't done that? You don't have much to lean on. Did you go to NOAA or for anything like that? Or what was living on your own like?
It was kind of, I feel like I'm a pretty like, what's the word I'm more. Like, I can do things on my own.
Independent,
yes, that's the word. I feel like I'm overall relatively independent. It was a bit weird because my 3 closest friends all stayed at 5th year and didn't go away at the same time. So it was weird kind of that they were all still here doing basically what we all did last year. So that was a bit odd because I wasn't able to relate anything, but I feel like we would have had very different experiences anyways with it, me being mostly hockey focused. I did lean to my parents a fair bit, but they did come down a lot to visit and watch me play every home. So I feel like that helped because they were down like back-to-back weekends or every other weekend to bring me stuff and different things like that. So I feel like that helped with the transition, like not being so far from home.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Have you found that your friends have asked you a lot of questions about what they might experience next year and some advice? Or has it been pretty?
I feel like they haven't really realized yet, but I feel like starting in the fall when they go away, they might ask me more. Like, just like some of my friends were asking me just the different layouts of courses because they don't even know what they have to take or what kind of things were. Like my friend Kirsten was asking me comparing 2 kind of courses to see what they would both entail. So I was kind of explaining to her like how you have to pull from different sections to grab a certain amount of credits and different things like that. But
for sure.
So the announcement was made that you guys are moving back to the OUA for the first time since like 2006 or something, from the RSEQ. It was in the middle of your season. What was sort of the first impressions that sort of your team as a whole got from that, and like what was sort of the chatter around the room like whenever you guys heard that?
I think everyone's just excited not to have to see Concordia 5 times. Like, they're just excited to see new teams, new faces, especially since you do play each team 5 times. So like, we're kind of getting sick of those same French people all the time. So I feel like everyone's kind of excited to move forward and to see how we do. And I think, yeah, everyone's just overall excited to try something new and see how we fare out in the OUA.
Yeah. Do you have any friends from the Junior Lady Sens that are playing in the OUA that you're looking forward to playing against next year?
So one of my close friends actually just transferred to Nipissing, so I'm really excited to play against her because she's a very aggressive player. There's actually 2 girls that I played with last year coming to play with me on Carleton, so I played with both of them for 2 years as a junior, and they still had 1 more year before they came, so I'm excited to play with them again. Who else?
You got someone at OTech.
Oh yes, Lee Burkett. She went to Ontario Tech, and same with an older girl, Harry, whose sister is now on my team. That's one of the girls coming. So I played with both of them, so that'll be interesting seeing them actually play against each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they've probably never actually played against each other since they're 2 years apart, but they did play together 1 year with me. So I feel like that'll be kind of cool to see.
So joining the OUA, one thing that the one downside that comes with it is traveling from Ottawa to places like Windsor, places like London. What strategy are you gonna implement to, make those long bus trips where you don't have bus legs coming off the bus for these games?
I feel like, well, for away games, our coach has said that we are likely to leave Thursday evening for a game against like Windsor or London, just because we haven't really faced travel. Like, we play Montreal 18 mostly, which is like 2 hours for us, which is what I was doing originally. So I never really felt the bus legs all that much. So I think just making sure when we do stop, like actually like activating to keep the legs moving, so I'm not sitting on a bus for like 7 hours, like properly eating when we have stops and just different things like that to keep my body activated.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to last year, can you tell us a little bit about your first goal that did count?
So last year, my first goal that did count was kind of unfortunate for my father because I feel like it was the one out of like all the home games he missed due to weather conditions, and he was very upset about that. But I pretty much just took a slap shot from in point to hash mark area, and it just ended up going in. I didn't even see it go in, but it went through the goalie.
What was that feeling like?
It was, at first I didn't know it went in, but then when someone like put their hands up, it was actually really exciting, and I instantly thought that, wow, my parents aren't here for my first goal.
Poor David.
I just blanked on my question.
You blanked?
I blanked. You go again.
You want me to go again? Okay, so this is just a little filler while no one thinks about it. I was listening to your interview on episode 50, and Noah asked you a question. This was back when you were in high school. If you thought you could beat him in a skate race, and I don't know if you remember your response, but you said forwards or backwards. You think you'd have him?
I think you'd have him backwards.
You said you'd think you'd have him both ways. In a short distance, if it got too longer, you thought his legs would take over. Do you still think that way? Are you even more confident now?
I feel like backwards I could still maybe take him forwards. I don't know now. He's increased his fitness level since then.
He also
So
he doesn't play much defense in lug. He kind of just rushes.
I feel like if you did this race in October when I haven't played a lug game yet, whereas if you do it in February, there might be difference because not playing from like September. Like I'm used to starting up in like early September. Now we're not playing until November. And this beer league, the lug we play. So I feel rusty. I don't know about you, but I know it's not really about us. But I feel the very first game, I'm like, oh my god, I actually have to figure out how to play hockey again.
It's like the feeling the first ice time of the year. You got fire in your lungs, like you can barely breathe, and you probably don't even experience.
No,
that.
it's completely. You can run all summer. It's completely different. Like I went for an ice time last week, and I hadn't been on the ice for about a month and a half, and my legs still felt a little clunky being off for a month and a half compared to 6 days a week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just kind of leading on to that. What does an off season look like for you?
So we have Nick, who is our athletic trainer, and he actually works with Ladies Team Canada. So he did leave us for a week when they were doing tryouts and stuff for that. So that's pretty cool that he's acknowledged for his job and work. But basically what we have is pretty much a 6-week program, 6 days of the week. 4 days in the gym, 2 field days, so that's pretty much cardio, but there still is cardio aspects on gym days. And then there's 1 aerobic day, so that's kind of like either a light run, kayak, things like that. And then Sunday is a rest day, and he usually keeps the same rotation of workouts for a 4-week period, and then it switches. So it includes upper body, lower body, full body, pretty much everything, but it's not specific based on muscle per day. It's kind of like an overall over body rather than back and up, compared to push or pull. And then there's also agility things in there, so jumping and just that kind of stuff for power pretty much is implemented as well.
Cool. Has your coach kind of informed you on what role they're expecting you to have this year? And if not, what role do you hope to implement or be a part of going from your first year to your second year?
So we did have all the players had a closing meeting. So kind of just they went over how they felt your year went and what their kind of expectations are for you next year. And she did let me know that she wants me to become a leader within my D pair. So to be more instructing, because she feels like we see the game the same, like me and her kind of. So she wants me to take charge of my D pair. So that would be kind of a leadership role because I'm not used to really bossing around my players that much. And then she also wants our fitness to be increased because if she has the opportunity, she wants to run only 5D for a lot of the games. So she wants us to all have our fitness up so that we can all be eligible to take that spot and be able to roll 5D for an entire game.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point because I don't know if you felt the same. You probably did because you were part of it. But Noah did put a lot of games of yours on the TV, so we watched a lot of your games in Nipissing. And we found that your team, even though you guys struggled a little bit this year, even against teams like Concordia, you were pretty competitive. And we'll say the first half of the game, and kind of as the game went on, it kind of looked like other teams would start imposing their will on the game. I don't know if you felt the same way, but maybe that's why your coach is looking for some more fitness.
She strongly was like, I want to shorten the bench, but I physically can't because I can't roll. I don't feel comfortable rolling 3 lines, even though I would want to only roll 3 lines or 5D. So she is strongly pressing that we need to improve that over the summer because she wants us to finish games and she wants to be able to shorten the bench and know that when she's shortening the bench that those people can still keep going every shift.
Yeah, I can definitely see you guys being a competitive team if you can play a full 60, the way you guys start. You start really well, for sure.
So this year you were named as a finalist for the Carleton Ravens overall female rookie of the year. So first off, congratulations. But unfortunately, you didn't end up winning because that rower was cracked. that. But what does sort of this recognition sort of mean to you as being named one of the 4 top female rookies at Carleton?
I was very overall like impressed with myself that I was able to accomplish something like that for being nominated out of 3 other individuals, but 4 in total for a whole athletics, for full athletics. So I felt like I got recognition for putting all the effort in that I did, and like always trying to improve my game. So that was really special, and I just thought it was really neat experience to only like to just be nominated in that kind of role. Like 4 out of that many athletes is a pretty big accomplishment, I feel like, in my opinion. So overall, I was just really impressed with myself that I was able to do that.
It was well deserved. What sports did you enjoy watching yourself at your school outside of hockey? Was there any sport in particular that you found yourself going to most of the games, or?
So it was pretty exciting for men's soccer because they actually won the OUA.
That's
so
cool.
Just going to their kind of final games was really excited. Like I believe it was their it was either semifinal game or their final games. It went to shootout kicks.
Oh yeah.
So that was really exciting that we ended up winning that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then basketball. The women's basketball is even the men's, even though they didn't do as successful this year, women's basketball, they're like so unbelievably a well-rounded team, and they have like amazing players, and just the fact that they can go and win a national title as well is extremely cool, and back-to-back national titles. So that was really cool to watch the women's basketball team as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the support around the school, kind of all athletes watch most of the other sports and kind of come together as a school? Like, did you feel support from the rest of your school at home games and stuff?
Pretty much only kind of the men's team would come and watch us because they know the sport, and hockey is in a way kind of secluded because it's us and the men's team, and then all the other teams are in a hallway, so they all see each other every single day. So it's a bit kind of secluded in that sense that it's the rink compared to the field/court. But I did create a great friendship with one of the girls on the soccer team because we're in the same program, so that was pretty neat. And then we also did this thing with the football team. So they came to us and we played like a mixed game with them at Christmas time, and then we went to the football boys and did like a whole big like scrimmage thing with them. So that was pretty interesting to see them get on the skates, some of them, and then us going into the field and play some football.
Having your dad be a coach, did you what position do you play? Did you run any plays out there? Make David proud?
We did. It was called walk football, so that everyone could play and that no one was going to get injured just with size differences. But I played offensive in the offensive line. So.
O-line?
No, we just would all run. We'd all walk.
Hockey players are known to be really superstitious. I know when I was growing up, I had my superstitions. Do you have any sort of game day superstitions that you have to follow before every game?
So I have to have a coffee before every game, usually Starbucks
You don't drink coffee, iced coffee.
Iced coffee, a Starbucks iced coffee. And then I also have to always tie my left skate before my right skate. And if it goes the other way around, it just doesn't feel right. So it's always left first.
Is there any songs do you guys listen to songs individually in the dressing room, like headphones, or do you have like an audio system where all you guys listen to the same song? And if so, do you guys have a song you play before a game?
So we get there usually about 2 hours beforehand, so there's kind of like your own time where a lot of people tape their sticks and like stretch and stuff, and that's when most people put in their own kind of music. And then when we like warm up and get ready, that's when we use the speaker. We kind of just have a rotation going on, but
do you have a come out song?
I honestly forget the name of our come out song.
Holy, wow, true.
It wasn't the song I voted on, so I don't remember it.
Oh, so you're just upset now.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I got another one. I find definitely in all sports, but sometimes women more than men, it can be a little cliquey and difficult for rookies to get in a room and feel welcomed. Did you run into anything like that, or was it very welcoming?
So the first week the coaches technically aren't allowed to be involved, so it was just team, and it was a little bit odd. Like only the person beside me introduced themselves. Like no one else really introduced themselves, and that's what my coach is trying to do with the team. She just came in last year, and she's trying to change the whole vibe of the team, because before it was very, just kind of cliquey and like not inclusive space. So she's trying to just change the whole vibe, and I think she's doing a really good job of that, because after like the first month, everyone was a big team, everyone was like there and was there for you. So I feel like she's doing a very good job getting kind of a better vibe in the room.
Yeah, you need that for sure.
I asked another person we're having on episode 100 yesterday, our buddy, me and Brandon's buddy Owen, why he sort of fell in love with basketball and picked basketball, to pursue. So I'm going to ask you the same thing, but not for basketball, obviously. What made you sort of fall in love with the game of hockey, other than our father sort of forcing it upon you?
Well, it has been for many years a very male-dominant sport. So I feel like just the fact that I got to enjoy it made me kind of want to do it more, because it's mostly, like, all growing up, it was mostly boys other than my cousin. And so, like, just, like, that part kind of pushed me, but then also just, it's such an interesting sport that you're on ice and you're wearing skates. Like, it's not like every other sport you throw on running shoes. So it's very different in that aspect. I just kind of liked the physicality, the skill. It has so many different elements to it, and I feel like that's just, and kind of fell in love with it. And like, it's hard not to when your dad plays, you see your older brother playing, and pretty much everyone around you that you become close with is playing hockey. So just being in a Canadian small town, it's just kind of a thing you do, and then ended up really enjoying it and wanting to do it for spring hockey, summer hockey, winter hockey, and so on.
Yeah, and I think I followed up that question with asking Owen this question, so I'll do the same thing. Man or woman, is there a hockey player that you watched growing up that you tried to replicate your game around?
I would say no. I wasn't overly interested in watching hockey that much. I kind of just like to do it myself and play it. So overall, probably not really. Like, I never really looked up to anyone overall, other than now it's amazing to see all the women playing in the PWHL. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
finally
that was my
Yeah.
next question. We asked the Sims this, or I asked the Sims this. Obviously, as a boy growing up, me and Brandon probably 5 or 6, we dreamed of being in the NHL. Now with the PWHL, there can be girls that 5 or 6 growing up say, hey, I want to play in the professional women's hockey league. What does this league sort of do for women's hockey or girls hockey now?
I think it just creates a future for it. Like, before, everyone's like the only thing I could really look up to was playing in the Olympics, and that's the top 30 people in the country, which is extremely unrealistic. I feel like now with there being a league, there's like actually kind of a bit of a motivation to keep going, because there is now an end goal. There is somewhere you can go and pursue and actually get paid for it. And I think the recognition that they got this year, the attendance numbers they got this year was crazy, and all the support they got was amazing. So I feel like it is going somewhere, and it is giving little girls a place that they can kind of dream to go to, instead of just saying, like, boys, they want to be in the NHL. Now they can say, I want to be in the PWHL.
Yeah, I know the Simses had some opinions on kind of the first year of the PWHL. What are your thoughts on it? Like, do you think it's in a good spot? For example, they thought it was too rough, and they thought as more drafts happen and younger athletes come in, the game's going to go from a more rough style to a more skilled style. Do you think it's too rough, and do you think it kind of needs to be more skill based?
I actually kind of liked the physicality level, because sometimes you just, like, I think open ice hits is not realistic to ever put into a women's game, especially growing up. We never learned how to hit because we never were involved in hitting. But I feel like just kind of being able to be a bit rough around the board just kind of expands the game, because you can't just go in there like 100 miles per hour and hit someone. But for the girls, they don't really play in fear of getting hit, which I feel like gives you a lot more time to think. But if there is contact in the boards, I feel like that could increase a lot of the game, because there's a lot of penalties, like even in our games, based on contact around the boards, which I think could easily be implemented into our game in a safe way. So I feel like that's pretty cool. But I feel like also the people playing in it didn't have as much exposure to the different kind of developments and like skill sessions that they have now. So I think going into it, we need to implement more physicality so there can be physical and skill in the years to come in the PW.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh my god, I blanked again.
You blanked again?
Oh, no,
Good point.
I got it. Again, getting more question ideas from Owen. I asked Owen sort of in his off season, what's like the one main thing that he wants to work on. So going into from your first to second season, what's one thing you're trying to improve on going into your second year?
I think overall, being a small player, I'm looking to improve my upper body strength and just being able to kind of push around girls in front of the net, being a defense. So I think that's something I'm looking to do, is to improve on my upper body strength so I am able to move people around where I kind of want them to go, and just kind of using my lower center of gravity to my advantage, which I try my best to do, but I feel like having the upper body strength will definitely improve that.
Yeah. So this kind of expands off that. Obviously, if you ask anyone what their end goal is, it's obviously to win a championship. But on a more personal level, what are your goals heading into this season?
I think heading into the season is to just have another successful season and to be even more successful as an individual and just take on whatever role I'm given on the team to the best of my ability so that I am doing my contribution to the group. And just kind of, if she needs me to do this spot, I'm willing to do that. If she needs me to do this, or if she doesn't need me to do that, to not be upset about it and just kind of play my role to the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
What are some sort of the main strategies or maybe some main sort of points that you picked up on your first year that you can take into your second year, both on ice and off ice?
So strategy-wise would definitely be time management, to be planning when I need to eat and when I need to do work, and to be able to fully shut off and be ready for game time, to not be thinking about that test or that quiz, and just to be fully be there in the moment and prepared for the game. So I think that's something I need to work on, is to just be able to get what needs to be get done so I can fully focus on the game. And then just being able to do my best from like sleep aspect, and I am sick very often, so trying to not be sick as much so that I can fully contribute and like develop all year.
That's a good point. Like, especially with university athletes, we could watch a game, Noah and I could watch a game and see someone have a bad game and just be a little judgy, but how hard is it to balance like stuff you said, like outside you got school, you got nutrition, you got a social life? How hard is that to juggle all that into playing a sport as well?
I would say it is quite complicated to do. Your social kind of gets diminished pretty quickly, and it just becomes social with your team because you do have a similar schedule, and that's basically who you can kind of click with. But it is hard to not get run down and to be able to manage it all. So that aspect is pretty hard to do, and to just stay healthy all the time. So.
For sure.
Looking ahead, you stated earlier you have your schedule already. I know when I used to play, there was always sort of dates that I circled. Is there any sort of games that you're circling, you know, like I want to play this team, or I'm really excited to go to this city, play at this arena? Are there any sort of games you have circled?
So I'm always excited to play the Colonel By, which is against Ottawa U at the TD place. So that's very exciting, and it's a back-to-back weekend against them, so we have 2 games against Ottawa U. So I think we always have a rivalry there, so it's a bit bittersweet kind of playing them even already after we played them 5 times, because we're both similar level in competitiveness, and it's just always nice to beat Ottawa U at this point.
For
so
sure.
I'm looking forward to that game.
Looking at the Stanley Cup, I know you said you don't watch a whole lot, but it is 3-1 for Florida. The game is happening tonight. We're recording on Tuesday. Do you have a series prediction? Do you think it's going to end tonight? Do you think Edmonton can make a bit of a comeback?
I think coming off the 8-1 could either go 2 ways. They could have either used up all their goals, or they'll be coming in hot and they will take Florida to a Game 6. So I'm kind of hoping Edmonton wins, because the Canadian team hasn't won in a while. I know Noah does not want Edmonton to win. But I kind of hope
As
that
he's
they
wearing
can.
an Edmonton shirt.
Yeah, I know. I just realized that.
I kind of hope that they can pull off like leading in from the 8-1 win and continue that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see tonight.
I got nothing left. You
I'm good.
So yeah, I guess we'll wrap it there. We thank you again for giving up your time.
Appreciate
and
it.
Me and Brandon will see you in our corner glass spot on January 24th when you come to Nipsing, and we
Hope
will
to see
be
you there.
banging on the glass.
I don't know who to cheer for.
It's the toss-up.
I can get you the home jersey to wear.
If I have merch, I might have to rep it. I'll rep it. I'll rep it if I get merch.
That will do it for episode 100. We hope you guys enjoyed all these interviews. If you've made it this far, we actually had a blast, me and Brandon, recording, sitting down, talking to these people. We have talked to most of them in the past. But just, seeing where they are at this part of their journey, whether they're done their sport, like Taylor and Kylie, or whether they're just 1 year in, like Payton was, or they're seniors, like on the team, like Owen and Cass, just in between. Everybody's sort of journeys are different up to where they have been, and I don't know about you, but I had a blast doing all 4 of these interviews.
No, interviewing is so much fun, and to pack that many interviews into one episode, it was a lot of work, but a lot of fun along the way. Like you said, the people we've interviewed before were younger, obviously, and to hear their journey through the sport, like Peyton, for example, she wasn't at her school yet the first time you interviewed her. Now seeing her experience at school, Cass obviously was a little bit younger. Now she's kind of a vet old lady on the team. She'll like to hear that, and same with Owen. So. And Taylor is, like you said, it's fully done school. So it's really cool to hear their adventures. And for the new people, they had really cool stories. So awesome interviews by all. And we appreciate everyone coming out.
So yeah, we'll wrap it up there. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to never miss a weekly podcast. And next week, me and Brandon will be back talking about the Stanley Cup Finals. But if you guys watch this right when it comes out, the Oilers could push it to a game 7. The way they're playing, it looks like they might. But yeah, we'll be back next week.
See ya.